52886. Furnished by NAD and the station. Message and data rates may apply.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
You can listen on the go. Find us on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Now, by popular demand, the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Can you see yourself voting for Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker? Yes or no, and why? He made a great speech today. It was very every-manish, but he could still pull it off. 866-660-5759. Let's find out what Mark Davis is thinking about for tomorrow morning on this very same radio station. Mark, what's up?
Hey, JD, good new week to you and a happy Monday night. When school starts next month, some kids, are going to skip class. So what happens to them? Texas is about to go much easier on those kids as truancy laws are about to get very soft. Is this a good idea or bad? Also, Scott Walker's announcement day today. How did he do? And yes, I am stoked. Tomorrow morning as the show begins, an American spacecraft will buzz Pluto. I'm so in. So join us. Lots going on. See you tomorrow morning. Mark Davis Show for a Tuesday, 7 to 10, right here on 660 AM. The Answer.
And we'll finally get the answer. We have been waiting for an answer for decades. Ever since I was a little kid, when that spacecraft flies by that, dwarf planet, we will finally find out why it is that Pluto was a pet and Goofy was a cartoon character. They're both. What? I'm the only one that worried about that at all? Oh. Different Pluto? Oh, well, never mind then. Never mind. Can you see yourself voting for Scott Walker? Probably don't know him a lot right this minute, but if you have a chance, find out where you can get his speech. You can find it. You can find the text of his speech. And it's very, very good. And it's very, very conservative. If you are a conservative voter, you're going to like everything you hear him say. So what I want to know is can you see yourself voting for him at this point? Is he even on your radar? If not, if he's not on your radar, who is? 866-660-5759. By the way, there are other bits of news involving other Republican candidates. We'll get to that coming up after the bottom of the hour. There is one thing that speaks very highly for Scott Walker, and that is that Richard Trumka, who, by the way, is the head of the AFL-CIO, Labor Federation, he says that Scott Walker is a national disgrace. If you've got that communist saying that you are a national disgrace, I got to tell you something. You are legions ahead in my book. I'm not kidding. For years, Walker has been the preeminent political nemesis to organized labor. As governor of Wisconsin, he ushered into law the highly controversial Act 10, which stripped most public sector workers in the state of their collective bargaining rights. Then he survived a gritty recall election pushed by the unions. Earlier this year, he signed a contentious right to work bill into law, further weakening the state's labor movement. And then he had to run for re-election. He won all of these elections, 3 in 4 years, because Wisconsin was ready for a change. His hard hand with the unions, according to this is HuffPost Politics, this is Huffington Post, has made Walker a conservative hero in all likelihood. The hatred emanating from labor plays into the governor's political advantage. In the run-up to his announcement, Walker cast himself as a politician willing to take on the hard battles, pointing to his match with public sector unions as evidence of his courage. We don't need public sector unions. That's what civil service rules are for. Public sector unions are nothing more than a way to suck money out of the government. That means your and my pocketbook for the sake of pushing leftist politics. That's what public sector unions are for. We don't need them. Coming up, more on the rest of the candidates in the Republican side of the presidential chase for 2016. This is the Wells Report.
Bill Bennett believes the nuclear deal with Iran is going in the wrong direction.
They've gotten tougher. They've made more demands. They've made more categorical statements about what they will and won't do. And we just seem to be cravenly going along. And we're going toward this deal, and it may be one of the worst deals in American history. It's just a horrible situation.
Bill Bennett's Morning in America, weekday mornings at 5, right before the Mark Davis Show at 7 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis from my friends at Good Feet, America's #1 arch support. And that invites the question, who needs arch support? Answer is more people than you think. Do your feet hurt at the end of a day? That's not just the way life is supposed to be. You should have arch support where your feet feel great even at the end of a long day of walking. If your feet hurt at the beginning of the day, man, you got all kinds of issues, and they can be helped. You can get out of pain with arch support. It can be structural misalignment, plantar fasciitis, kind of a foot alignment, supination, overpronation, all these technical things that they know about at Good Feet. And what you'll know is you can walk in pain. You can limp in and walk out pain-free. This happens with so many people. I want to send everybody to goodfeetdfw.com, goodfeetdfw.com, Plano, Fort Worth, Southlake. Absolutely fantastic people. No shots, no medicine, no surgery, just relief from pain. So get out of pain today. 888-660-0942. 888-660-0942 or goodfeetdfw.com. That's goodfeetdfw.com.
This plan is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation refund period. Administrator and benefits limited, Dallas, Texas, and available in all states.
I'm a mother. When my kids were growing up, I can't tell you how many times they had a cold, an ear, or sinus infection. I already knew it was the same thing one of the other kids had 3 months before. Could I get a doctor to call me at home? No, I had to take off work, or worse, bundle all the other kids and go to the doctor's office. Well, not anymore. RealMedSavings.com is like a discount club for healthcare. At RealMedSavings.com, you just call the 800 number and a board-certified doctor calls you back in about 15 minutes, talks to you about what it is, and then calls in a prescription if it's needed. You pay nothing for this doctor's call because you're a member of the club. RealMedSavings.com is not insurance, just real savings on everyday medical problems for your whole family. Go to RealMedSavings.com. Save money and time. RealMedSavings.com. It's worth going there.
Summertime. Kids are out of school. It's vacations all around, but let's get very serious about the fall and next year and the rest of your financial life. Here's an opportunity at the end of July, July 31st, August 1st, in fact, to get into the latest new venture on Wall Street seminars. Hey, Mark Davis, I've done this and I loved it. It has helped me enormously. NVOWS.com, the website for new venture on Wall Street. NVOWS.com. See what they do. Pastor David Mitchell's plan on helping you get into the stock market, understand it a little better, be a little smarter, invest a little more wisely, retire earlier, get a second income stream. There's a seminar in Fort Worth at the Norris Conference Center on Houston Street, another in Richardson on East Campbell Road at the Hyatt Regency. Take your pick, July 31st, August 1st, and call and get yourself a seat right now. 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. New venture on Wall Street. Learn about it at NVOWS.com. NVOWS.com. Then get your seat now at 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE.
We gave Tom 12 seconds to give 6 reasons why he opened a Mathnasium Learning Center franchise.
Okay. Great income potential. Doing good for kids. Doing what I love. Making math make sense to kids. 500 centers open already. 1 every 3 days. Mathnasium taught me the business. Helps me. Supports me.
Time's up. Pretty good. For franchise information, visit mathnasium.com or take the first step right now. Call 855-361-MATH. That's 855-361-6284.
Improve the look of your home for less with hardwood floors from Lumber Liquidators. Choose from over 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, woodlook, tile, and more, all for a lot less than other stores. This week, get gorgeous, pre-finished, 3/4-inch solid copper heavy hardwood for $3.29 and more from 99 cents. $2 instant savings on our hottest Bellawood matte finished hardwood floors. North American and European laminate from 49 cents and more.
And 18-month special financing.
For the floor you want at the price you deserve, visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
Andro 400, I really love it. I've lost 50 pounds. I was a size 38 waist. I've gone down to a 32 waist. My mood has changed. I don't get stressed out. It gave me so much more energy. It feels like I'm 25. I'm so happy. I'm just a completely different man.
Guys, if you'd like to see results like Dave Ryan's, try Andro 400, the safe, inexpensive way to boost your testosterone. Go to andro400.com or call 866-546-1955. 866-546-1955.
Dallas, Fort Worth's home for stimulating talk. 660 AM, The Answer. The truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. The Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. So, what are the rest of the Republicans doing these days? Well, they're not just hanging around doing nothing, I'll tell you that. First, I don't know whether you know this or not. We're going to be talking about this later on tonight, but El Chapo, the shorty, or the short one, the leader of the Sinaloa drug cartel, busted out of jail, and it was really great. He had his own private bathroom, his own private shower, in his own private prison cell. And for whatever, he has the engineering of tunnels down. They were able to dig a tunnel over a mile long and hit a shower stall where he happened to be taking a shower unobserved by his guards. Anyway, he escaped. Do you know what he did? One of the first things he did, he threatened Donald Trump. I thought it was borderline funny-ish. I mean, it is kind of funny when you think about it. So Donald Trump is saying that the people coming to America are rapists and murderers and kidnappers, right? So El Chapo gets out of jail and he says, I'm going to make you shut your mouth. That's what I'm going to do. Kidnap your kids, kill you and murder you. And yeah, okay, I don't know. I thought it was funny. So that's what you do when you're mad at somebody saying that the people coming from your country to their country are rapists and murderers. That's what you do. You go out and you prove that they're right. Smart. Real smart. Hey, doesn't take a whole lot of brains to run a cocaine scale. I'm just saying. Oh, he is illiterate? You mean he doesn't read? Well, who's doing his texting for him? He's just dictating it to somebody who's too afraid to say no? I guess that's the case. Anyway, the reason I'm bringing that up, okay, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on, why doesn't Donald Trump have Secret Service protection? Anybody? No, President Obama had Secret Service protection in 2007. Yeah, he was still a senator. He was running for the presidency. He was still a senator, and he got round-the-clock Secret Service protection. One of the most virulent, savage criminals in the world has just threatened one of our presidential candidates, and nothing. Nobody said a thing. And you got to back that up with Catherine Steinle, and you got to ask the president one more time, what, do white lives not matter? I mean, is that where we are here? 866-660-5759, so you don't even have to be running for president. If you are the president, you can still screw up during this campaign season. Let's talk a little bit about what happened in Knoxville, Tennessee, and Oskaloosa. They were coffee shop meets and greets, and presidential Republican candidate, Texas Governor Rick Perry, urged voters to look at his executive and military experience. His central message, he referenced his time serving in the military when discussing the current size of the military and foreign policy, the size of the military, the capability of the military, eroding every day, just when our enemies are getting stronger every day. He talked a little bit about that. He talked about the conservative judges he appointed to the Texas Supreme Court when discussing the recent Supreme Court ruling on gay marriage. There were regular applause and nods of agreement from the largely conservative crowds at both locations. He spoke for the need of a larger military, limited government, strict adherence, and interpretation of the Constitution. That's the one that's important to me. We've got to start paying more attention to our Constitution. We're going to lose the Republic. This government is so far afield of what our government is supposed to be, it's not even close. And it all comes down to these executive branch agencies. That's how the government circumvents the Constitution, by creating these infragovernments of bureaucrats. And then, of course, when you allow, to get back to something that we've already talked about, when you get back to the fact that you've got these infragovernments, these bureaucrats, when you organize those bureaucrats into a public sector union, and then that union takes all those dues from all of those mostly willing employees, because those civil service employees, they made a good living, but most of them are making $150 grand a year. It's all because of public sector unions. You could live a nice, comfortable, upper middle class life as a public servant, as a bureaucrat in one of these agencies, but you weren't going to get rich. I'm sorry, but I think that if you're making six figures, you're doing really, really well. I'm just saying. And so what ends up happening is that's how this government is able to run away with our republic, because the unions aren't bound by anything as to who they support. And with this unending, I mean, there are 21 million people working for the government. Let's say 3/4 of them are members of public sector unions. That's a lot of money, right? So anyway, Governor Rick Perry had a really, really good time and a really, really good day today. The crowds greeted Perry enthusiastically, applauded multiple times as he spoke. He's got 6 campaign stops all over Iowa next week, and he will appear at the 2015 Family Leadership Summit in Ames, Iowa on Saturday. Let's see what else. Ted Cruz, the son of a Baptist preacher, knows how to hush a crowd. It's a skill he employed effectively in the morning after 9 black churchgoers were massacred at a Bible study class in Charleston, South Carolina. You know, today the body of Christ is in mourning. Asking for quiet inside a packed Faith and Freedom conference at the upscale Washington Omni Shoreham Hotel for close to a minute. Only the rapid-fire clicks of news cameras could be heard echoing through the cavernous ballroom. It's a new morning, he said softly. Down in the polls, jostling for a position in an increasingly crowded GOP field, the conservative rock star from Texas has demonstrated one unique trait since opening his presidential bid in mid-March at a raucous Christian convocation at Liberty University in Virginia. Wherever he goes, he owns the stage, particularly when the moment calls for a dollop of preacherly passion. Yeah, right now he's in 8th place, ahead of Rick Perry, ahead of Chris Christie, behind Donald Trump, Rand Paul, Mike Huckabee, Marco Rubio, Ben Carson, Scott Walker, and Jeb Bush. All right, so once again, I expect Ted Cruz to be on the ticket, but as a vice presidential candidate. And that would be good for him. That'd be a great move. Because once and for all, if Ted Cruz is on the ticket, right, or for that matter, Marco Rubio, we will find out as Republicans as to whether or not the Hispanic vote cares about Republican politics at all. Because if the Republicans lose this next time with Ted Cruz or Marco Rubio on the ticket, which I fully expect is going to happen, then what I fully expect is that, once again, the Republican Party chasing a myth, like the mythical independents that we're going to win in 2012. Remember those guys? Yeah. Sorry, won't work. Anyway, Cruz strategist says they say he's laying claim to a precisely defined demographic of regular churchgoers to add to his national Tea Party following, and he does have national Tea Party following, and he should. Railing against same-sex marriage, the Supreme Court, Senate GOP leadership, and the special interest lobbies he terms the Washington cartel. Brilliant. The Cruz campaign has increasingly taken on an aura of a tent revival. I believe that 2016 will be the religious liberty election. Religious liberty has never been more threatened in America, and he is right. Absolutely correct. And it's not and this is, by the way, from the Houston Chronicle, and they are averse to Ted Cruz. They're trying to cast him as a Christian conservative, somebody that they were able to successfully defeat a couple of elections ago. They're trying to put him in that cast to be able to wail on him a little bit later on. But the simple case of the matter is that Ted Cruz knows why religious liberty is so important. It's something that matters greatly to the United States, greatly to Americans, is guaranteed in our Constitution, right there at the top of the Bill of Rights. Thanks to the NRA, we still have a Second Amendment. The only reason we have a Second Amendment is because of the NRA. We have shone a very white-hot spotlight on the destruction of the Fourth Amendment, and yes, indeed, finally got to the point where they started taking shots at free speech and started taking shots at religious liberty, all in one nice little package called same-sex marriage. It isn't so much about same-sex marriage, it's about the tool that same-sex marriage is. Because with this one tool, you're able to crack open a couple of different articles of the First Amendment. And that's all this is. This is a disassembly of our constitutional rights. That's what this is all about. That's why they call it political science. People are wondering whether or not Jeb Bush really screwed up the other day. Yeah, Jeb's out of practice. Yeah, he said this, quote, "My aspiration for the country, and I believe we can achieve it, is a 4% growth as far as the eye can see, which means we have to be a lot more productive. Workforce participation has to rise from its all-time modern lows. It means that people need to work longer hours and through their productivity gain more income for their families." Yeah. I realize I don't work in a coal mine, but I spend my entire day doing my job. Vicky spends her entire day doing her job. Matt spends his entire day essentially, talking about SEC sports. That's what he does. But that's hard work and learning hands and learning threatening hand signs. But when you're as talented as Matt is, when you we call him magic for a reason. Just saying. Anyway, so I don't know about you, but I'm working as hard as I want to work. How about you? Are you working as hard as you want to work, or do you still have some left in the tank? I'll tell you what we do. We get those 93 million people that have taken the last 3 years off. We say, hope you're nice and rested. Let's go. Let's get back to being Americans. Let's start moving forward. Well, what happens is that you let us keep some of our money. It's amazing how quickly people go to work. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. He said that was the only way we were going to get out of the rut that we're in. He clarified the same day he was referring to the number of unemployed part-time workers in America who'd rather be working full-time gigs but can't because the jobs aren't there. But the clarification didn't quite work. The damage may have already been done. News of the governor's supposedly out-of-touch comments trended nationwide on social media. Once again, these guys, the media is trying to cast Jeb Bush in the model or in the mode of his father, George H.W. Bush, right? As being a rich guy who's completely out of touch. You see all these things that they're doing here? They're trying to wedge these candidates into convenient, pre-packaged, negative images. That's what they're trying to do. And you got to be careful of it. And by the way, for all of my Tea Party buddies, right? My Tea Party friends, when it comes to Ted Cruz, a solid Tea Party guy. He and Rick Perry may be the only Tea Party guys in the entire event. Maybe Scott Walker, but he's more of a straight-ahead conservative. We better start supporting our people. You better start making phone calls to friends in Iowa. So when people are talking about all these candidates, that they know that Ted Cruz is one of the guys that they want to support. This Tea Party is going to do just fine if we decide to work at it. That's the kind of workplace productivity we have to have. We have to have the Tea Party talking to ourselves and telling the good news about Tea Party candidates. All right? You're listening to the Wells Report. This is 660 AM The Answer. Trey Gowdy got some really wonderful things that he doesn't need. I'll explain the whole thing next. This is the Wells Report.
The Mark Davis Show.
When school starts next month, some kids are going to skip class. Texas is about to go much easier on those kids as truancy laws get very soft. Good idea or bad? Also, Scott Walker announcement day. How did he do? And yes, I'm stoked about the American spacecraft that will buzz Pluto as our Tuesday show begins. So do come join us.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Our country was built upon the foundation of strong men and women who had a vision for what America should look like decades ahead. From the brave soldiers who battled for our freedom to the police and firemen who keep us safe here at home. These are the people who have built the foundation that can support America for years to come. Foundations are just as important for your home as those men and women are for our beautiful country. And that's why Alliance Foundation is here to help. At Alliance Foundation, they know just what your home needs. It may not be the cheapest quote out there, but it's definitely going to be the one that does the job right. Wouldn't you rather take the time to have it done right the first time and not have to go do it over again? Alliance Foundation knows that you don't put a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. Alliance Foundation also wants to give all former and current military, as well as emergency servicemen, a 10% discount on all their jobs. So go online to AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com. That's AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com.
You installed antivirus software to protect your computer. You've subscribed to an identity theft monitoring service to protect your personal information. But have you considered protecting your family? What if something happened to you? How would your family make ends meet? Protect your loved ones and their future with an American National Term Life Insurance policy. American National offers simple-to-understand policies that are flexible and affordable. Plus, your rates are locked in for the term you choose. You have important people in your life. Protect them for as little as $1 per day. Call American National at 888-895-9673. That's 888-895-9673 for a quick quote or apply online at AnicoLife.com. That's ANICOLife.com. And take 10 minutes to secure your loved one's future. American National has been insuring families since 1905. Call now, 1-888-895-9673, or go to AnicoLife.com, ANICOLife.com.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-952-3467. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to use the bathroom, speed up bathroom trips, reduce waking at night to go, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-952-3467. That's 1-800-952-3467. Call 1-800-952-3467.
The Good Contractors List is a free service designed to protect you. We meet all of our home service contractors face to face and feel so confident in our final choices that we back their work with a $10,000 guarantee. We go the extra mile in our interview process to make sure that the contractor is not only honest in quality, but able to offer the most affordable and fair rates. For instance, how do you pick who you call for air conditioning? Did you know that the air conditioning industry is commonly known for misdiagnosis and unneeded upselling? The higher their overhead, the more money they need to stay in business. So they flash tempting offers to get their foot in the door, and the sales game is on. The air conditioning companies we choose are simply stable and proven companies that offer the highest quality at fair and honest rates. And to protect you, they've all agreed to do an absolutely free second opinion if you're being told that you have to replace your air conditioning unit. If you need AC or any other type of home service, visit thegoodcontractorslist.com first.
Geico applauds your inner happy camper.
A merit badge of awesomeness goes out to the part of you that wants to put the recreation in recreational vehicle. The part of you that packs up everything and everybody in the RV and says, let's get this show on the road. Because Geico has specialized agents who help save money on more than just car insurance. Geico will insure that entire RV, so you can get the s'more making, poison ivy dodging, same song singing, ghost storytelling, campfire building, best time you ever had with your family show on the road.
Geico for your RV. See how much you could save.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. If it's important to you, it's on the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
House Select Committee on Benghazi Chairman Trey Gowdy has been trying to get as many of these 55,000 pages of emails that he can get a hold of, because he needs to figure out what's going on with Benghazi regarding the Secretary of State, the President of the United States, and it is embarrassing how bad they're stonewalling that perfectly understandable and necessary investigation. So, last week, 3,600 pages of some of the subpoenaed material showed up, half of which, so that would be somewhere in the vicinity of 1,800 pages. Half of those pages were clippings that included articles about Richard Gere. Trey Gowdy said, quote, so if this is their idea of complying with a congressional investigation, then we are going to be at this for a long time, unquote. Yeah, 2,000 of the pages they got out of 3,600 were the State Department's daily press clippings. This is what we call obstruction of Congress. If Trey Gowdy were still a U.S. attorney, it would be obstruction of justice. We barbecued a president for that a few years ago. Remember, it was in all the papers. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
Dennis Gibbs, the boat guy, here with the Big Boat and Outdoor Show. It's boating time, folks, so don't forget to tune in to the only boating talk show on 660 AM The Answer every Saturday evening from 6 to 7 p.m. Brought to you by BoatSelect.com, the site with thousands of boats for sale, or list your boat for free on BoatSelect.com. I know you have questions about your boat or one you're buying. Email those questions to me at BigBoatShow@yahoo.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis with something I know you do not want to spend your summer doing. Paying 2 mortgages while only living in one house, or stuck in one house that you can't sell when there's another house right over there across town that you'd love to move into, but you can't. If you're stuck in a home you can't sell and nobody else has been able to sell it for you, let me solve that for you. Josh DeShong, my hero. He sold our home. Josh DeShong and the now famous Josh DeShong home selling team. Here's how he works. Marketing budget like nobody else. Energy like nobody else. Putting your house in front of so many people, you only need one buyer. He will find it. Here's his pledge. You'll sit down with Josh DeShong, talk about a price and a time frame. If your house does not sell at that agreed upon price, in that agreed upon time frame, that's it. Josh DeShong will buy your house. Your house will get sold. That's why his website is getsold.net. Getsold.net. Call Josh today. Get him on your team. 972-325-6644. 972-325-6644 or getsold.net.
Have you ever considered joining the military but stopped because you couldn't deploy to a foreign country? Believe it or not, the state of Texas has its own military force that stands alongside the Texas National Guard, the Texas Air National Guard, and serves only inside the state of Texas. It's called the Texas State Guard. I'm Tech Sergeant John Wells of the 4th Air Wing, and we're looking for you to join us. Give us a call at 877-398-8350. That's 877-398-8350. If you love Texas as much as we do, join the 4th Air Wing of the Texas State Guard.
This is 660 AM The Answer. Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM. KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM. The Answer.
Fox News Radio, I'm Tara McHugh. After months of speculation, Wisconsin Governor Scott Walker has formally entered the GOP presidential race. He says he's running on his record.
My record shows that I know how to fight and win. Now more than ever, America needs a president who will fight and win for America.
That makes 15 Republicans in the race. Hamas, which rules in the Gaza Strip, is now catching grief from ISIS, who says they're lax when it comes to Islamic law.
Hamas actually has blamed recent rocket attacks on Israel, has blamed that on ISIS-aligned militants here in the Gaza Strip. Basically, these militants are trying to provoke Israel back into a war with Hamas while trying to attack Hamas.
Fox's John Huddy. An autopsy on B.B. King shows no evidence of poisoning as a cause of death. Two of King's children claimed he was murdered. He instead died of Alzheimer's. Fox News. We report, you decide.
You're listening to 660 AM, The Answer.
For almost 2 decades, financial advisor and educator Rick Poston with Empowered Wealth Financial Services has provided peace of mind to thousands who see or hear him in the media or read his work. Rick has been chosen by Bloomberg Business Week magazine as one of the top 20 game-changing financial advisors in the country. A fan of Rick's profound teaching, Brian Tracy, world-renowned business leader, speaker, and best-selling author, has asked Rick to co-author his newest book entitled The Winning Way, where Rick will share with his fans some of the principles that allow Rick's clients to continue on their winning way. If you're looking to break away from that same old investment plan that has provided you with one too many disappointments, stay tuned to 660 AM The Answer every Saturday morning at 10 o'clock for the most educational hour on financial talk radio with Empowered Wealth Radio, live, or call 469-361-4020.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. No sooner had the Supreme Court issued its gay marriage decision that voices began calling for the end of tax-exempt status for churches, colleges, and other organizations that hold to a Judeo-Christian view of sexual morality. There is a new law in the land, but not a new morality. And the issue is whether holding to this traditional morality will soon be the equivalent of holding racist views in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service, and thus the cause of losing tax-exempt status. We hope not. We pray not. And we urge proponents of the decision last month to step up and say, no, this is not what we thought. In the meantime, we urge all churches, parachurches, and not-for-profits with morality as a central tenet of their being to contact the Alliance Defending Freedom to learn what they ought to do to prepare for the challenges that are now very clearly in front of us. It's time to prepare now, not after the attack on tax-exempt status has occurred. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
For daily commentary, news, interviews, and the Town Hall Review Weekend program, go to townhallreview.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I want to share with you one of the smartest things I ever did. A whole house full of windows from Statewide Remodeling. The benefits were instant. The house looked great. The resale value went way up. The most important thing, I was saving money immediately on energy bills in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. Let me send you to statewide-remodeling.com. In fact, statewide-remodeling.com, or visit the showrooms in Irving or Collin Creek Mall in Plano. See the windows that I'm talking about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. Statewide-remodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows from statewide-remodeling.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income.
Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
This claim is not insurance and does not meet minimum credible coverage requirements under the Affordable Care Act. This discount card program contains a 30-day cancellation and refund period. Administrator and benefits limited. Dallas, Texas, not available in all states.
I'm a mother. When my kids were growing up, I can't tell you how many times they had a cold, an ear, or sinus infection. I already knew it was the same thing one of the other kids had 3 months before. Could I get a doctor to call me at home? No, I had to take off work, or worse, bundle all the other kids and go to the doctor's office. Well, not anymore. RealMedSavings.com is like a discount club for healthcare. At RealMedSavings.com, you just call the 800 number and a board-certified doctor calls you back in about 15 minutes, talks to you about what it is, and then calls in a prescription if it's needed. You pay nothing for this doctor's call because you're a member of the club. RealMedSavings.com is not insurance, just real savings on everyday medical problems for your whole family. Go to RealMedSavings.com. Save money and time. RealMedSavings.com. It's worth going there.
For over 75 years, Geico's kept an eye on the future, keeping customers happy with things like 24/7 customer support and emergency roadside service. And to prove it, here's one of our commercials from over 75 years ago.
At Geico, we promise to always find innovative new ways to serve you. In fact, we're so innovative, in 75 years, they'll listen to this old radio commercial and think, wow, they were innovative.
Wow, we are innovative.
Geico, saving people money for over 75 years.
Listen to us live on iHeartRadio, 660 AM. The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, and next week we're going to start seeing some of the, shall we say, more public symbols of what's been called Jade Helm 15 in our cities around Texas. Okay? Now, this is a special operations exercise that, by the way, is not just for American Special Operations Forces, but other countries' special forces as well. Lots of people are very, very concerned about some of the things they're dealing with, like seeing guys in military uniforms with no unit identifying patches on. Things like this. And by the way, before we go any further, I just want to tell you that I'm having this discussion with you as a private citizen of Texas. All right? Under no circumstances am I going to cross the line into any of my military obligations and things that I do beyond this radio show. For the sake of this moment, for the sake of this discussion, I'm just JD, okay? And so what I want to do is I want to talk to you about what bugs you about Jade Helm 15. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Because this is a special operations exercise, strangely enough, there won't be a lot of embedded reporting. They're not going to be permitted at any point during the exercise. Military officials say the secretive special operations troops will maneuver through private and publicly owned land in several southern states. This, according to Lieutenant Colonel Mark Lastoria, a spokesman for the Army Special Operations Command, who said his organization is considering allowing a small number of journalists to view selected portions of the exercise later this summer, but nothing has been finalized. All requests from the media for interviews and coverage of the U.S. Army Special Operations Command personnel, organizations, and events are assessed for feasibility and granted when and where possible. There is no point in having special operations that are then made public. You get my drift? So, fret not. I was under the impression that many of these organizations, many of these special ops units were basically informing the landowners that they were going to be there. But as it turns out, a listener on Facebook was quick to let me know that there are memos of understanding and permissions that have been that have been sought and granted by these landowners. All right. So if that should calm you down a little bit if you're a little bit uptight about this. I got it. We are dedicated to communicating with the public, whether balancing that against the application of operation security and other factors. Perfectly understandable to me. And again, if you have a question, 866-660-5759. I'm just speaking on my own as a private citizen. Okay? I don't have any other information except that when the advanced journalism packages came out, I got one. All right? And basically, they just it's all right here. The Washington Post is what I'm working with right now. Dan Lamothe got one of these. I got one of these. Selected other people got these things, and they weren't. It was never classified. It wasn't any of that. It was just very straightforward. An explanation of what was going on. There were some things that were crafted that I think were crafted for political effect by our current government, which kind of annoyed me, and I think a lot of Texans were justly annoyed at being thought of as hostile territory. I don't think that was necessary. I thought that was heavy-handed and stupid. But that's just my own personal opinion. The schedule is going to run July 15th through September 15th. It is expected to include more than 1,200 troops. Army Special Operations Command announced the exercise in March, saying the size and scope would set it apart from most training exercises. For months, protesters have said that Jade Helm is setting the stage for future martial law. Those fears have been mocked by comedians like Jon Stewart and others, and the U.S. military has tried to reassure people about the exercise. First of all, let's discuss this. Okay, thing number one. I am gifted by having the privilege of hanging around people who have spent much of their adult lives fighting for freedom and liberty around the world. They have courageously stood in front of indigenous people in those countries and protected them from the onslaught of evil and savagery, all bent on a totalitarian future for those people that for at least a while, those dreams of totalitarian domination of neighbor were set aside, thanks to the United States military. Those very same people would be those that would have to execute martial law if any of that was ever happening. They wouldn't do it. It's not legal. It's not legal. Now, there are people that will say, well, the government can do anything it wants. But one of the reasons why the United States has been pretty much the United States of America where everybody's free is because of the Second Amendment. It's there for a reason. 1,200 troops apparently will be taking part in these exercises. How many people do you know that would defend themselves against martial law in the United States? You personally. You probably know 1,200 people. You personally know 1,200 people that would defend the liberty and freedom of their neighbors from martial law in this country. I do. The odds are very bad for any force that would attempt martial law. And I guarantee you, if anybody was going to attempt it, wouldn't be Americans. So, who do we know that might invade the United States? Let's see. Canada. No. Why would they invade the United States? They've got some of the best beer in the world right up there where they live. Mexico? Yeah, but arguably, I think we've got everybody that wants to live here from Mexico, don't we, already? So we don't really have to worry about that. That leaves Red China. They have enough people to do it, but they don't have enough ships to get them here. So the deep, dark idea that the United States military is going to somehow express the beginning shots of martial law in this country, it's not practical. It won't work. And it won't work by design. Texas Governor Greg Abbott, a Republican, called in April for the Texas State Guard to monitor the exercise, drawing a new wave of attention to Jade Helm and criticism from people who said he was fanning the hysteria. Not at all. The Texas State Guard are troops that respond to Governor Greg Abbott as the commander-in-chief of Texas military forces. That other states don't have state guards is stupid on the part of other states. Every state in the United States should have a state guard. They are the most patriotic, wonderful people on the planet. I know. I've got hundreds of their phone numbers in my phone. Salt of the earth, your neighbors. Somebody said something about, we're the good guys, and we are. Just as the state of Texas has their own court system, the state courts, well, we also happen to have a state military, which is good. The Washington Post has several times requested access to observe the exercise, making the case to the military that firsthand media coverage would help explain the mission. Well, Astoria said that's not possible to allow a journalist to travel with Special Operations Forces in the field, citing the isolated nature of the mission, the need to protect the identity of the forces involved, and not the least of which is there's nobody listening to this conversation. Well, maybe a dozen people listening to this conversation right now, a dozen, that could keep up with them, even if they allowed it. You have no idea. You have no idea how amazing these people are. You just have no idea. The things they do are incredible. Seriously. There isn't a journalist that you've seen that can keep up with special operations guys. They just can't. It's just not possible. And yeah, you got to protect the identity of the forces involved, which is why they're not wearing a whole lot of identifiers, okay? So I understand I understand your concern. And yes, there are people that are organizing Operation Counter Jade Helm. You can read about that in the Houston Chronicle. Eric Johnston, a 51-year-old retired firefighter and sheriff's deputy who lives in Kerrville, is a surveillance team leader in Texas. He's going to coordinate 3 groups of volunteers, 20 folks in total, who hope to monitor SEALs, Green Berets, and Air Force Special Ops in Bastrop, Big Spring, and Junction when Jade Helm kicks off July 15th. They might be able to see those guys for 5-10 minutes, and then they're going to be gone, and then they're going to go, where the hell did those guys go? Let me talk to Brian in Dallas. Brian, thanks for joining me. Hi.
Hey, no problem. I just jumped in here late, so I apologize if I've missed anything. But I didn't hear anything about the UN involvement in this operation.
Well, the UN involvement has to do with certain people from, and I believe I saw this in a newspaper. And once again, I only have open source because I'm talking as a private citizen. I don't have any information that you don't have or don't have access to. But there are going to be coalition forces that we're all familiar with. That have something to do with this, and it's not because they're getting any particular reconnaissance on the United States or anything like that. It's just that they need to be able to work with these special ops guys, and that's what that's all about. Okay, yeah.
The big concern that I hear with all their vehicles and mass quantity of vehicles that they have, especially here in Texas, because I'm in Dallas, been a concern that I've heard about.
Well, the thing about that is that I spend a lot of time going through the news, and I've heard a lot of wild stories about lots and lots of UN vehicles, and I got to be honest with you, I haven't seen a whole lot of them. I've heard about some, but remember how many vehicles it takes to actually do something, right? I remember somebody said, you got to go to this website, man. You got to look at these pictures of all these cars they've got lined up out in the middle of nowhere. And I did my homework, and I started working on, okay, so what are those cars for? It turns out they're cars that are brand new cars that have been built by America's car makers that didn't get sold. They take them out, they park them until they find a way to get rid of them. And I went, oh, I see. There are a lot of very serious rumors here, and there are a lot of scary ones out there. Relax. Start thinking about the practicality of everything that they're saying. It doesn't work. It can't work. It's one of the reasons why we live where we live. This is the Wells Report.
Dennis Prager gets rough on Bernie Sanders.
To call yourself a socialist in the United States at this time, with the record of socialist parties in Europe and in Latin America, is to be a moral idiot. The people who go to his rallies are moral idiots. You have no moral compass if you support socialism in the United States of America.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace your old AC system? Well, now there's a new program that's too good to pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You've probably already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,000 off from your utility provider? That's right, and when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $4,500 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. So right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. Call us now, or if you want, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Every month, Heather Cook helps dozens of people file claims for life insurance bought through SelectQuote. The stories she tells are inspiring, like this one about Joe, a 39-year-old research analyst. Joe was healthy, but with a wife and 2 sons, he realized he needed life insurance just in case. Joe called SelectQuote. His agent, Scott, shopped a number of highly rated term life companies, and though Joe's budget was tight, got him a $1 million policy he could afford. Last April, Joe died from heart failure. But thanks to his life insurance through SelectQuote, his family can keep the house and the boys can go to college. See how affordable SelectQuote can make just in case for you.
For a free quote, call 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop. You save.
This isn't a commercial. It's a gift to anyone who's sick and tired of dealing with their hearing loss. Because we'll give everyone who calls a risk-free trial of a life-changing hearing breakthrough called Listen Clear. Not only that, we'll also give you free shipping and free batteries for life. But you must call now. 1-800-700-9313. Listen Clear is precisely designed by top audio engineers to fit your ear almost invisibly. And you can adjust Listen Clear to find the perfect way to hear everything, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. Listen Clear is so invisible, people may not even know you're wearing it. And it's so lightweight, you may even forget you're wearing it too. So if you're sick of dealing with your hearing loss, let us give you a 100% risk-free home trial with free shipping and free batteries for life. For free information, call now. 1-800-700-9313. That's 1-800-700-9313. 1-800-700-9313.
Summertime. Kids are out of school. It's vacations all around, but let's get very serious about the fall and next year and the rest of your financial life. Here's an opportunity at the end of July, July 31st, August 1st, in fact, to get into the latest New Venture on Wall Street seminars. Hey, Mark Davis, I've done this and I loved it. It has helped me enormously. NVOWS.com, the website for New Venture on Wall Street. NVOWS.com. See what they do. Pastor David Mitchell's plan on helping you get into the stock market, understand it a little better, be a little smarter, invest a little more wisely, retire earlier, get a second income stream. There's a seminar in Fort Worth at the Norris Conference Center on Houston Street, another in Richardson on East Campbell Road at the Hyatt Regency. Take your pick. July 31st, August 1st, and call and get yourself a seat right now. 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. New venture on Wall Street. Learn about it at nvows.com, nvows.com, and get your seat now at 877-907-TRADE, 877-907-TRADE.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with the Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
This is 660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, 866-660-5759. Citizen surveillance teams getting together to keep an eye on Jade Helm. Are they helping? Are they hurting? Are they going to be essentially ineffective? 866-660-5759. So Eric Johnston says that when they see two Humvees full of soldiers driving through town, they're going to follow them. And they're going to radio back their ultimate location. I doubt very sincerely that they're going to be able to follow them very far. One of the things about Humvees is they can go pretty much anywhere they want. And while you and your Tahoe may need a road, Humvees do not. And they have much better GPS units than you do. I'm just saying. Look, I understand that it drives you crazy. I understand all of this, but you got to remember something. You know, people are suddenly very concerned that the military, they stand up and applaud as they walk through the airport, are the same guys that you're going to see driving in those Humvees. They're the same guys and women. They're the same people. You gotta figure out exactly what the problem is. The problem is that the President of the United States has made a 6-year career out of looking us right in our eyes and lying to us. Just flat lying. We have watched the government of the United States, over our demonstrated objections, move forward with a political agenda the vast majority of we the people do not want. This damages our society. And when you see people very nervous about Jade Helm 15, it's because they don't trust their government. And I can't blame them one bit. This is what you get when you lie to the American people. Now, these people, I'm sure the people in Washington and the Obama administration that came up with this, there is a level of, I think, perniciousness, dictating that Texas will be the hostile part of, hostile country and so on and so on. I expect that there was some calculated willingness to annoy us in that. But remember, that's not necessarily coming from the United States Army or the Navy or the Marine Corps or the Air Force or the Coast Guard. The people that you're going to see wandering through your towns, or more likely won't see wandering through your towns, these people are your heroes. They're the same people that you buy lunch for without telling them. And oh, by the way, if I happen to see any of them, I'll buy them lunch. And so will you. No, this is about our mistrust of the government of the United States. And they have earned it. When 72% of us tell you not to pass Obamacare, and you pass Obamacare, that leaves marks. it leaves mistrust. When the leader of that government looks you right in the face and lies to you knowing full well he's lying, it leaves marks. And when that smug media says, what are these people so worried about? Well, what we're worried about is what we haven't sold out and you have. Our liberty and our freedom. Not from the U.S. military, from the United States government to different groups of people. This is the Wells Report. Back with more in just a moment.
From Plano to Denton down to Louisville too. Hot Finds has it. Also in McKinney, we'll prove it to you. Hot Finds has it. Service, selection, savings, and more. Feel the excitement when you walk through our door. Hot Finds has it. Hot Finds has it.
We truly believe because we are family owned and family run, we go the extra mile for you at Huff Finds.
And when you come to any of the 9 area Huff Finds dealerships, you can be assured you will be treated like family while choosing from a Texas-sized selection of new Chevys, Chryslers, Jeeps, Dodges, Rams, Kias, Hyundais, and Subarus. Plus, Huff Finds has a great selection of certified worry-free pre-owned vehicles you can find online at HuffFinds.net or at any of the 9 Huff Finds dealerships in Plano, Denton, Louisville, and McKinney.
After all, Huff Finds has it.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret that credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're Debt Relief Advocates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-791-4933. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-791-4933. That's 1-800-791-4933. 1-800-791-4933.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. Got a question. Why is your mobile phone bill going to help Hillary become president of the United States? Answer is, same reason Big Mobile helped Obama win twice. It's what they do. Now Hillary's counting on Big Mobile to help her in 2016. If you're okay with that, don't listen further. But if you don't want to support Hillary or other leftist candidates and causes, switch to EOS Mobile. EOS Mobile. Website is EOScell, EOScell.com to learn more. EOS has the same great nationwide network, high-speed data, voice, pretty much everywhere across the country. EOS has the same devices you have come to love. And with plans starting at $9.99, a plan for every budget. Best of all, EOS Mobile at EOScell.com gives 5% of each bill to conservative causes and candidates. If you're stuck in a contract, they'll buy you out. If you want your phone bill to support conservative candidates, the choice is clear. EOScell.com. Learn more now at EOScell.com. EOScell.com. Same phones, same service, better causes. EOScell.com. EOScell.com.
Sample comes with a 90-day order. Copays and deductibles may apply.
Attention, catheter patients on Medicare. I'm a professional cowboy, and I use catheters. Been cowboying for 25 years. I've broken 14 bones, had 2 concussions, and a punctured lung. I know pain, and I don't want any more of it, especially when I cath. Now, I use these new nearly painless catheters from Medical Direct Club. They hurt less. Compared to the old ones, these ain't nothing. Here's how it works. You call and you get a free catheter sample. I was just like you, wondering if I should call. Boy, I'm glad I did. Give yourself a break from pain and try these new catheters. You won't know unless you try them. Give them a call now. You have nothing to worry about. They bill Medicare and your insurance company. You pay nothing up front. You get your free, nearly painless catheter sample sent right to your home.
Call toll-free 1-800-500-4605. That's 1-800-500-4605. 1-800-500-4605.
Call now. Our family had a savings account until our air conditioner needed replacing.
We had a vacation fund before our refrigerator had a meltdown.
My family has no savings and our water heater just quit.
Sadly, sometimes it only takes one home system or appliance breakdown to bust your budget. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield protects more of your hard-earned money because they help pay your covered repairs for you. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244. Who wants to pour money into repairs for things like your air conditioner, refrigerator, plumbing, oven, or washer when you get the budget protection you deserve from American Home Shield? Service requests are subject to a fee for each trade called. Some exclusions and limitations apply. It's up to you. Pay for expensive home system and appliance repairs yourself or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. Protect more of your hard-earned money. For valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to ahs.com. That's ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244.
660 AM. The Answer. The Wells Report. A daily good old-fashioned North Texas barbecue of anybody trying to take advantage of us on 660 AM. The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. How you doing? Howdy as well as duty. 866-660-5759. To all those people that counter Jade Helm operation, good luck. Be careful. I don't want you to get the wrong idea about what I'm saying, okay? It's just that I think you're going to have it's going to be a lot tougher for you to follow those people around than you think. And what you may end up doing is following around a lot of your neighbors, Texas Military Forces guys and the Texas National Guard. Texas Air National Guard. You may end up following the wrong people. Once again, remember, this is basically a special operations exercise. Those guys are really good at not being seen. Have fun, but be careful, please. And there's one thing else. There's something else I want to say. I don't want people to get the wrong idea about what I'm talking about when I talk about all these people that are Texas patriots. These people are our neighbors. I'm talking about the people that are countering Operation Jade Helm 15. The people that are spending their time protecting themselves, their neighbors, their families, their property from something that they see as concerning. They are not crazy rednecks armed with shovels. These are your neighbors. These are people who love you. These are people who are trying to protect you. As a matter of fact, everybody in the field, the Jade Helm guys, the people watching the Jade Helm guys, everybody in the field are your neighbors and your fellow Americans. Every single one of us in this nation owes this nation our skepticism. It's what made America great. It's what keeps our government honest. These hard-bitten conversations we have, these arguments between us, that is a sign of health, not a sign of chaos. It feels scary because we haven't had to have these conversations. But cool heads must prevail. And these people that are going out there to watch these forces move through Texas are patriots, loving neighbors. So if some smart alecky reporter or some smug comedian wants to make fun of the people that are trying to protect themselves and their neighbors, the problem isn't the people that are out there doing that work when it's hot as hell and they're running their cars through whatever rough terrain there is, trying to keep up with a bunch of guys in a Humvee. Those people aren't to be made fun of. Those are people being Americans. Those are people being Texans. Those are people being your neighbors. Don't let this ridiculous, stupid, in-the-bag, corrupt government make fools out of your neighbors. just because they live in their Washington, D.C. townhouses and are too blind to see that being an American requires a certain level of participation that they've long given up, just because they can't see it. And they think that this government teat is going to nourish them for the rest of their lives. Their smug foolishness to get out there and point fingers and laugh at you has absolutely no basis in reality. None. In America, we get to do what we want to do. That means if we want to follow some groups of guys that are out there doing military maneuvers, please, by all means, do so. But also remember why they're there. They're trying to learn something. To a degree, you're helping, but stay out of their way. They've got work to do. I was just going through some statistics. Okay. How many people took part in the coalition forces during the Iraq War in 2003? 866-660-5759. How many coalition troops were there? 866-660-5759. Call me on the telephone and tell me how many coalition troops, when the entire world descended on Saddam Hussein in 2003, how many coalition troops actually took part in that combat? 866-660-5759. 866-660-5759. I've got a friend of mine who's watching on YouTube live events. We've got the show broadcasting live on YouTube live events. You can take a look at my very, very cool shirt. 866-660-5759. Call me now and tell me how many troops actually took part in coalition forces. There's a reason I'm asking. All right, I'll tell you. About 220,000. Okay? 220,000 troops took part in the Iraq War. So all those people that are concerned about UN vehicles and so on, the most effective army the coalition forces ever put into the field was about 250,000. Okay? Now, let's start thinking backwards. Let's go back to 2008. Okay? President Obama just got elected. Between 2008 and 2015, how many AR-15 rifles have been sold just in North Texas? How many AR-15 rifles have been sold in North Texas? Yeah, Vicky said 6. No, I think that's how many I purchased. I could be wrong. Vicky says a bazillion.
6,100.
No. They're well over 500,000 of those rifles were sold just in North Texas. Who owns them? How many people live in North Texas? There are 5.5 million people living here. 5.5 million people living in North Texas. So, let's take a look at why, since the War of 1812, why no foreign force has ever invaded the United States. Because just as Admiral Yamato of the Japanese Imperial Navy said so brilliantly, you cannot invade the United States because there would be a rifle behind every blade of grass. So you're sitting there saying, gosh, I saw a train that was loaded with white vehicles marked with UM. There must have been 1,000 of them. Okay, so at the most, that's 4,000 troops, right? How many people live in Weatherford? How many people in Weatherford have AR-15s? And we're just talking about AR-15s. How many of those people have AK-47s or AK-74s or any of those other variants of that rifle? Think about this for a minute. Everybody who's worried about martial law, who's going to do it? There are more people in Texas with CHLs than fought in the Iraq War in 2003. And those are salt of the earth people. Those are your neighbors. Those are the sheepdogs, man. So once again, so this is a special ops thing, right? So let's see, special ops, how many people are going to be coming through here? How many people? Hang on a minute here. I've got it. I got it. I had the number here just a minute ago. Just trying to tell you how many people are going to be taking part in Jade Helm. Was it 1,200? I know. Thank you very much. You're a putz. That's all there is to it.
So are you.
Now, I know I'm a putz, but yeah. Okay. Hang on. I've got this right here. I read it already. I read this once. It's in this one right here. Okay, here we go. There are about 200 Special Operations Forces, 300 additional support personnel for most of the exercise, 700 members of the 82nd Airborne are going to be here. So, yeah, it's about 1,200 people. Thank you. Yeah, let me get to Alexander. Alexander in Fort Worth, Texas. Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you doing, JD?
I'm good. Okay, so you got 5 people that all have AR-15s, right?
Yes, sir. My father being one of them. I'd never seen one personally until my father bought one. He was so happy when he got it. It's got a red dot, an ACOG. He's got like 3 or 4 different sights on it.
Sure.
And just by looking at one and the people that I know, I've never seen such confidence and such protection for their family by having these items that they have in their homes.
Well, you see, that's the thing, Alexander. That's the way it's always been in the United States. It's why the United States is so strong, not just from a standpoint of strong against other foreign countries, but strong in ourselves. We're all Americans. And that's why those of us who talk about the Second Amendment are so serious about it. Think about the Jews in the Second World War. Those are the people that were told by their government to turn in their weapons, and they did it. And they're all gone. The people in Stalinist Russia. See, that has to happen, and it's never going to. If someone says, hey, look, we're coming after your weapons, right? Let's assume that there might actually be a force of people that would do it. Nobody's going to comply because it's suicide. And world history is replete. I mean, Go out and watch Braveheart. Perfect example. I mean, those people went up against a superpowers army and navy. And at least for a while, defended themselves with rocks and deer antlers. Do not worry about this. We have a long, long way to go before any of us have to truly concern ourselves with any of this. There is not this majestic force of soldiers out there that will subdue the people of the United States. Thomas Jefferson had it right. Thomas Jefferson said this: The tree of liberty from time to time must be watered with the blood of patriots and tyrants. That's the deal. Now, there are a lot of people that don't want to hold up their end of that deal. I can assure you that in North Texas alone, there are far more people than actually showed up to fight the Iraq War. Just in North Texas, there are far more people that will stand for liberty and freedom in this nation. I don't care what the government says. I don't care what these pseudo-crazy, progressive, leftist idiots think. The people of the United States can absolutely defend ourselves and our Constitution and our way of life anytime we choose. Anytime we choose. You know what that's called? That's called freedom. It's called liberty. And there are a lot of people that think it's just going to be snatched away from you. Well, maybe from you, but not from me. And not from all the people that care about you either. And there are plenty of them. Bobby's going to join us from Red Oak next. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Sean Hannity believes Donald Trump is teetering.
Here's the next step for Trump if he's serious about running for president, in my opinion. Trump needs to, this is a razor's edge for him. He's got to balance Trump being Trump, and he's got to balance being presidential. He's got to show the American people that he could solve the problems that we now face.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. No sooner had the Supreme Court issued its gay marriage decision that voices began calling for the end of tax-exempt status for churches, colleges, and other organizations that hold to a Judeo-Christian view of sexual morality. There is a new law in the land, but not a new morality. And the issue is whether holding to this traditional morality will soon be the equivalent of holding racist views in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service, and thus the cause of losing tax-exempt status. We hope not. We pray not. And we urge proponents of the decision last month to step up and say, no, this is not what we thought. In the meantime, we urge all churches, parachurches, and not-for-profits with morality as a central tenet of their being to contact the Alliance Defending Freedom to learn what they ought to do to prepare for the challenges that are now very clearly in front of us. It's time to prepare now, not after the attack on tax-exempt status has occurred. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
For daily commentary, news, interviews, and the Town Hall Review Weekend program, go to townhallreview.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I want to share with you one of the smartest things I ever did. A whole house full of windows from Statewide Remodeling. The benefits were instant. The house looked great. The resale value went way up. And the most important thing, I was saving money immediately on energy bills in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. Let me send you to statewide-remodeling.com. In fact, statewide-remodeling.com, or visit the showrooms in Irving or Collin Creek Mall in Plano. See the windows that I'm talking about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. Statewide-remodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows from statewide-remodeling.com.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote.
The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-922-2353. That's 1-800-922-2353. 1-800-922-2353.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Let's talk about in-home sales. When I have a salesman in my home, I only want to know two things. What do I really need, and how much does it cost? I just don't have time for the whole dog and pony show. So that's how we structured our sales process. There's no drawn-out sales presentation, and we don't waste your time with silly gimmicks. There's no haggling, no calling the sales manager for a secret conversation you're not a part of, and most importantly, no pressure. We simply lay out all the options, discuss the benefits, and then let you choose what's best for you. We give you the right price the first time. It's just easier that way. Right now, you can save over $3,500 on a new Carrier Infinity system. So call two other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Improve the look of your home for less with hardwood floors from Lumber Liquidators. Choose from over 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, woodlook tile, and more, all for a lot less than other stores. This week, get gorgeous Amber City Strand bamboo for just $1.99 and more hardwood floors from 99 cents. Special coupon savings on all Bellawood pre-finished hardwood with best-in-class scratch resistance. North American and European laminate from 49 cents and more.
And 18-month special financing.
For the floor you want at the price you deserve, visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
660 AM. The Answer. Only for Texas. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
Yeehaw! You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells, talking about Jade Helm 15. There are a lot of frightened people who think that this is a precursor to something dire. All you have to do is think about the realities of the fact that you don't live in some place where people beg for totalitarian rule. You live in Texas. And I may have only gotten here 10 years ago, but let me assure you of something. I'm a Texan. And I'm an American. And there have been a lot better Texans than me. They've given their full measure for the sake of the Lone Star State, and if I have to, I will be the next one. Let me get to Bobby in Red Oak, Texas. What are you doing, buddy?
Hey, JD, how's it going?
I'm good.
You know, I have this argument with people all the time. They say, "Oh, Obama's going to come for our guns." I say, "Who's he going to get to do it?"
Yeah.
He's not going to get American law enforcement to do it. He's not going to get the United States military. He's going to have to call his buddies at the UN. They'll call. What are they going to do? Send a few thousand Pakistanis down here?
Exactly.
They'll be calling them up begging to go somewhere safe like Afghanistan or Somalia.
Yeah. If they think they've got troubles where they live, try to come here and tell us how to live here in the United States, or even worse, Texas. We'll send you back home, more or less in one piece, maybe. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. When it comes to treating prostate cancer, it's something this sensitive in your life, guys. You want people who have a lot of experience. And at USMD, the surgeons have completed a combined 5,000 prostatectomies. The Da Vinci robotic system, incredible technology, incredible doctors. And look, let's talk about diagnosing and testing. They'll get you plugged into all you need to know at 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. 10, 20 years ago, about 1/3 of men diagnosed, boom, they already had some type of cancer by the time they were diagnosed. Now that's shrunken up considerably. Lots more early detection. Be a part of that. Live longer. Be there for your wives. Be there for your families. Be there at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. They're going to help beat down prostate cancer and save guys' lives every day. 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. No more farming around all over town looking for this doctor, then that doctor. One place, one location, one best standard of care. USMD Prostate Cancer Center, 1-888-PROSTATE, 1-888-PROSTATE, or 888prostate.com.
Start your own business? They'll say you're crazy to put everything on the line to be your own boss, but not GoDaddy. We like that courageous, passionate kind of crazy, and we can help you put the idea or business you're crazy passionate about online. With our Get Online.
Check. It was epically hard for me to watch the President of the United States at the National Prayer Breakfast in 2015 make what I consider to be, and I say this reluctantly, making a fool of himself, trying to draw a moral equivalence between Christians in the Crusades and what ISIS did last week, let alone in the weeks running up to the National Prayer Breakfast we've been talking about. I am someone who is gladly Christian, with all the love in my heart that Christians have for virtually everyone else, including our enemies. I take no pride or no interest in doing anything to take the freedom and liberty that Americans have fought for around the world away from anyone, unless they use it for the horrific and savage evil that is presented to us every day on our national news. Mr. President, you say you watch the national news because you're always caught surprised by misconduct in your own administration. I watch the news and see the misconduct, evil, and savagery being practiced by people you tried to compare to Christians the other day, and it made me ill. And it still does. You're listening to 2015, the Wells Report Retrospective, more of which continues next on 660 AM, The Answer.
By a passing motorist is a survivor of a small plane crash Saturday. A couple of Bill Cosby's accusers are demanding that his testimony in a sexual battery lawsuit be unsealed.
Lawyer Gloria Allred held a press conference with Beth Ferrier and Rebecca Neal, who have joined Andrea Constant in a court bid to have Bill Cosby's full testimony from Constant's 2005 sexual battery lawsuit unsealed. Both women were Jane Doe witnesses in the suit. Recently released excerpts detail Cosby acknowledging that he got drugs to give to women that he wanted to have sex with.
Fox Radio's Michelle Polino. Fox News, we report, you decide.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. Dennis Prager gets rough on Bernie Sanders.
To call yourself a socialist in the United States at this time, with the record of socialist parties in Europe and in Latin America, is to be a moral idiot. The people who go to his rallies are moral idiots. You have no moral compass if you support socialism in the United States of America.
The Dennis Prager Show, weekdays at noon, right before Sean Hannity at 2 on 660 AM, The Answer.
Our country was built upon the foundation of strong men and women who had a vision for what America should look like decades ahead. From the brave soldiers who battled for our freedom to the police and firemen who keep us safe here at home. These are the people who have built the foundation that can support America for years to come. Foundations are just as important for your home as those men and women are for our beautiful country. And that's why Alliance Foundation is here to help. At Alliance Foundation, they know just what your home needs. It may not be the cheapest quote out there, but it's definitely going to be the one that does the job right. Wouldn't you rather take the time to have it done right the first time and not have to go do it over again? Alliance Foundation knows that you don't put a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. Alliance Foundation also wants to give all former and current military, as well as emergency servicemen, a 10% discount on all their jobs. So go online to AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com. That's AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com.
Hey everybody, Mark Davis for my friends at ViaScan of Las Colinas. We're always concerned about heart disease and cancer, and we should be. You ever hear those stories about the first sign that somebody had of heart problems when they died of a heart attack? The first evidence of any kind of cancer was after it was too big to be operable. Early detection is everything. Information is power, and honestly, sometimes information is survival. This is what ViaScan of Las Colinas is all about. ViaScan of Las Colinas. My friend John Duncan and the gang with the body scan, the well-view scan, they call it. All the vital organs there between the shoulder and the pelvis, making sure there's no heart plaques or blockages, no little cancer spots that could rise up and take you down. This is affordable, preventive healthcare. It is not uncomfortable. It is not claustrophobic. It's fantastic. I love it, and I love the information. It's good to know what's going on inside your body. Be ViaScan certain. 972-739-2840. 972-739-2840. or just Google Viascan.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
Summertime. Kids are out of school. It's vacations all around, but let's get very serious about the fall and next year and the rest of your financial life. Here's an opportunity at the end of July, July 31st, August 1st, in fact, to get into the latest New Venture on Wall Street seminars. Hey, Mark Davis, I've done this and I loved it. It has helped me enormously. NVOWS.com, the website for New Venture on Wall Street. NVOWS.com. See what they do. Pastor David Mitchell's plan on helping you get into the stock market, understand it a little better, be a little smarter, invest a little more wisely, retire earlier, get a second income stream. There's a seminar in Fort Worth at the Norris Conference Center on Houston Street, another in Richardson on East Campbell Road at the Hyatt Regency. Take your pick, July 31st, August 1st, and call and get yourself a seat right now. 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. New Venture on Wall Street. Learn about it at NVOWS.com. NVOWS.com, and get your seat now at 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE.
Be honest. Will owning a bigger TV help you get ahead in life? Will another pair of shoes make you a better person? Probably not. But what if you could speak another language? If acquiring a new language excites you more than acquiring more stuff, then wait until you hear this. As part of its biggest language learning event in history, Rosetta Stone is giving away demos of its powerful language learning software absolutely free. For your free demo, call 1-800-700-3017. And Rosetta Stone has made language learning more convenient than ever. Learn on your computer or iPad, then practice on the go with your smartphone or MP3 player without ever opening a book or memorizing boring vocabulary again. Do you want more stuff, or do you want a language that will last a lifetime? After all, it's all about priorities. To try a free demo of this powerful language learning software, call 1-800-700-3017. Again, get your free demo now. 1-800-700-3017. That's 1-800-700-3017.
660 AM The Answer. 660 AMTheAnswer.com. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Reuters news service out of Great Britain reports an 8-mile convoy of pickups, motorcycles, and cars wound through central Florida in a show of support for the Confederate flag as a backlash against its banishment from public landmarks across the South picks up steam. Horns blared and hundreds of rebel flags fluttered as more than 1,500 vehicles and 4,500 people turned out for the Florida Southern Pride Ride in Ocala. Vehicles from states across the South as far away as California participated. That flag has a lot of different meanings for a lot of different people, said David Stone. It doesn't symbolize hate unless you think it's hate. And that's your problem, not mine. What he just said is the proper understanding of this entire argument. There are people who find this to be a virulent symbol of hatred. Got it. They are entitled to their opinion. But their opinion is no more or less valuable than mine. which is different. The only difference in all of this is that for whatever reason, the people that disagree with me feel they have the license to question my character. Call me a racist and a bigot. They are absolutely, completely, categorically wrong. But someone who would say, look at Jon-David with his Confederate flag. Look at that racist bigot, is as guilty as discriminating against me based on the packaging they see as the Southern bigots were, who looked at black people and saw nothing that was worth their time. In other words, people who look at me and that symbol of the South that I, revere, not for bigotry, not for racism, but for the savagery at which that flag was trampled under Union forces' hooves as they burned and raped and murdered their way through the place I used to live. That's just as important to me as those people who find it a symbol of hate. And at the end of the day, we still have to find ways of living together. We have to find ways of sharing our various different points of view. But you can't be guilty of the same kind of book by its cover discrimination, willingness to be prejudiced against somebody that doesn't appear the way you think they should. Whether it's the color of their skin or the color of their flag, you can't fall into the same trap. You are so self-righteously casting aspersions on others. You can't do it. That flag has a lot of different meanings to a lot of different people. It doesn't symbolize hate unless you think it symbolizes hate. And that's your problem, not mine. The organizers announced the event as the South embarked on an emotional debate over the flag's symbolism in the aftermath of the massacre by 9 blacks by a white gunman in a Charleston church last month. The suspect in the church shootings had posed with the flag in photos posted on a website. And then it turned out that the very system insisted on by the same people who said that flag was a symbol of hate failed everyone. It had nothing to do with the flag. It had all to do with the fact that there are people who believe that you should jump through all kinds of societal hoops in order to get a pistol. As it turns out, this savage, pathological criminal jumped through all those hoops and nobody caught the fact that he shouldn't have been able to. That's not a Southern patriot's understanding of a flag that they revere. That's not the problem of that person. That's the problem of the government worker who dropped the ball and who was horrified by it, by the way. I'm not laying that at her feet. Those people go through 21 million of those applications every year, and they get 99.998% of them right. But all of this, get rid of that flag, is based on an error, not based on reality. It was based on a rush to judgment by opportunists. Forgive me if I don't buy in. In South Carolina, lawmakers moved quickly to take the flag down from the State House grounds in Columbia, a long-standing demand of those who see it as a divisive symbol of the South's pro-slavery legacy. I really wish they'd let the people of South Carolina vote. That way, if they took it down, it wasn't going to be the work of politicians, opportunists. People start trying to say, well, I made this happen, well, I made that happen, blah, 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 blah. I will point out the Democrats put that flag up there as a protest over the Civil Rights Act that they now champion and try to blame the Republicans for not supporting because they've got guilty consciences and they just flat get it wrong. And so many people are so willing to dive in that deep pool of ignorance that they swim in every day. The national push to pull the controversial icon from stores and public displays is being met with determined resistance. Quiet, determined resistance. Supporters such as those who drove through Ocala on Sunday insist the flag is an honorable symbol of regional pride, a mark of respect for Southern soldiers who died in the American Civil War. In Ocala, the seat of Marion County, an administrator ordered the Confederate flag's removal from a government complex. But last week, county leaders overruled the order, and the banner is still flying atop that building. It's just about heritage. I'm upset they want to remove a piece of history. So said Jessica McCree, 29 years of age. She, by the way, is an Ocala native and employee of a law enforcement agency who participated in the ride. In Hurley, Virginia, the rebel flag is more visible than ever as residents show their support for keeping the local high school's logo, which features the Confederate flag waving from a saber. Backlash is beginning. Mississippi, whose state flag incorporates the design of the Confederate banner, is divided. The city of Hattiesburg has removed all the state flags from city buildings. 3 miles away, the town of Petal has voted to fly the state flag at all of its city buildings. Mississippi Republican Governor Phil Bryant refused to call a special legislative session to address the issue, resisting calls to do so from leading state officials. In a 2001 statewide referendum, Mississippians overwhelmingly endorsed keeping the current flag's design. Ben Jones, a spokesman for the Sons of the Confederate Veterans, said a backlash is beginning. We're putting flags out. Every time one is taken down, we put 5 or 6 of them back up. Jones, a former Democrat congressman from Georgia who starred in the hit 1980s TV comedy The Dukes of Hazzard, says he's been selling out of replicas for sale at his show-themed stores in Tennessee and Virginia. The show featured a stock car dubbed the General Lee with an image of the Confederate flag on the roof. There was not a single line in a single script of the Dukes of Hazzard that carried any shred of racism at all. North Carolina's Department of Motor Vehicles recently sold out of a series of specialty license plates featuring the Confederate flag. It ordered more of the plates, which may be discontinued in the future. While the Confederate battle flag is coming down from State House grounds in South Carolina and around the nation, it continues to fly in St. Mary's County, Point Lookout, Maryland, at the center of a privately owned monument next to the largest burial site of rebel soldiers in that state. That flag stands for nothing more than hate, said the 49-year-old Longview Beach man, Clinton Cole. This is 2015 and we're still dealing with this. Jim Dunbar, who heads up the group that built the monument, says the flag stands for his heritage. It's a symbol of the whole defiance against the federal government. They were rebelling for the same reasons their grandfathers fought in the Revolutionary War: freedom from a strong, centralized government. Clinton is not wrong, but neither is Jim Dunbar. Clinton Cole says it's a symbol of hate. Jim Dunbar says it's a symbol of heritage. Both of them are correct. That's why things like civil wars are so tragic and the wounds so lasting. There can be no better example or a division that is being used as a political wedge by politicians in their opportunistic ways than the one we're dealing with right now. This is but a microcosm of the rich and deep fabric of the American society. Not everybody agrees. It's okay. It's okay that Clinton Cole thinks it's a symbol of hate. It's okay that Jim Dunbar doesn't. And just because the mainstream media is so corrupt and so ridiculous would take sides and empower those on that particular side to be able to lord over and essentially oppress those who disagree. Just because the media makes it okay doesn't make it okay. We can disagree on a lot of different things. But we better stop disagreeing that we're Americans and love this land with all of its faults and all of its mistakes. You're listening to the Wells Report.
Mike Gallagher wants the voters to decide what's good for the country.
Jonah Goldberg, our pal over at National Review, writes the Donald is a bad deal for the GOP. Man, I don't know what it is about pundits and writers that make them think they know better than the American voter. Why don't we respect the voters and let them decide?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at noon on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 AM, The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. No sooner had the Supreme Court issued its gay marriage decision that voices began calling for the end of tax-exempt status for churches, colleges, and other organizations that hold to a Judeo-Christian view of sexual morality. There is a new law in the land, but not a new morality. And the issue is whether holding to this traditional morality will soon be the equivalent of holding racist views in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service, and thus the cause of losing tax-exempt status. We hope not. We pray not. And we urge proponents of the decision last month to step up and say, no, this is not what we thought. In the meantime, we urge all churches, parachurches, and not-for-profits with morality as a central tenet of their being to contact the Alliance Defending Freedom to learn what they ought to do to prepare for the challenges that are now very clearly in front of us. It's time to prepare now, not after the attack on tax-exempt status has occurred. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
For daily commentary, news, interviews, and the Town Hall Review weekend program, go to townhallreview.com.
Here it is, Texas summer. Lots of high temperatures, some rain, and some periods of no rain. And put it all together, it makes a real challenge for your soil, your foundation. And if your foundation is doing weird things, or you suspect that it is because you got cracks in the walls or sheetrock or doors that are sticking or floors that don't quite look right, not matching up, call Abacus Foundation Repair. It's the best first call you can make and the only call you need to make. Abacus Foundation Repair. They're going to bring somebody out to map the house with the skill of an engineer, looking for possible causes like plumbing issues so the problem doesn't come back. Let's get on the phone with them right now. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. North Texas homeowners trust Abacus, the only company offering Millennium composite pilings for the strongest foundation solution. They're going to stay with you every step of the way. Work is guaranteed. Certified foundation guy on site at all times. You will be taken care of. It's transferable to new owners. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000 or abacusfoundationrepair.com.
I'm Steve Sidkowski, a former Wall Street insider. I'm holding a book that will show you investing strategies which could help you earn the kind of money you've always dreamed about. And right now, I'm giving this book away for free. So who needs to read it? If you're in the middle of your career and worry you'll never have enough money to retire, you need to read this book. If you're already retired and your income isn't enough, you need to read this book. And if you don't want to be selling burgers at 80, you need to read this free book. It includes the strategy I use to make a 72% profit on a trade where the stock only moved 12%. You'll need at least $1 million to ever fully retire. If you're behind on that goal, you really need to read Trade Like the Pros. And you can for free by calling 1-800-900-4304. Skeptical that it will deliver results? It's a free book, so what do you have to lose? Find out how at 1-800-900-4304. 1-800-900-4304.
Hi, I'm Larry Patterson, owner of Glass Doctor. In our disposable society, we're conditioned to throw out the whole thing when just one part goes bad. Like when the insulated glass windows in your home get condensation between the panes. You don't need to replace the whole window. The specialists at Glass Doctor can install new insulated glass in your existing frames with a lifetime warranty for a lot less than you might think. To see how quick and easy it is, visit glassdoctor.com today. That's glassdoctor.com.
Call the Glass Doctor, we'll fix your paint. Oh, yeah!
We gave Tom 12 seconds to give 6 reasons why he opened a Mathnasium Learning Center franchise.
Okay. Great income potential. Doing good for kids. Doing what I love. Making math make sense to kids. 500 centers open already. 1 every 3 days. Mathnasium taught me the business. Helps me. Supports me.
Time's up. Pretty good. For franchise information, visit mathnasium.com or take the first step right now. Call 855-361-MATH. That's 855-361-6284.
660 AM, The Answer. You're hearing tomorrow's front page on the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Ron in Dallas, thanks for joining us. Hello.
Thank you for taking my call, Jon-David.
Of course.
I guess I think the South is going to rise again. And this time they're going to rise about their flag. There's nothing that the government can do if the people say enough is enough. My great-great-great-grandfather died at Missionary Ridge. Wow. I have the rebel flag and the American flag on the front of my house. And I dare the SOB to try and take it down.
Yeah.
But in my final comment,
yes,
everybody, I think, in this day and age, should go ahead and listen to an old Charlie Daniels song. It's about a country boy and a boy from New York, and it said it's called "Country Boy Can Survive," and it would be really heartful to be able to listen to that. But another thing, as far as I'm concerned, that rebel flag stood for the blood of the black folk who fought and died for the Confederacy. A lot of people don't, they forget about that.
Yeah. Well, the thing about it is that there's a line in The Outlaw Josie Wales right at the end. And it's really meaningful. We all died a little in that war. And we are still suffering. There is no doubt about the stupidity of racism. There's no doubt about it. There is no doubt that there is a primitive, barbarian foolishness that goes with that level of disregard of your fellow man. But there was slavery north of the Mason-Dixon line. At the same time, there was slavery south of it. There's a great deal of Yankee hypocrisy in that Yankee victory. And all those people that are lording over this very shallow triumph. And, oh, by the way, temporary one, too. All those people that are now saying, well, we showed them. We'll soon be talking about the bigotry of South Carolina again, as if nothing had changed. Mark my words. Before this year is out, someone will be criticizing the primitive, foolish racism of South Carolina, somewhere, somehow. Like nothing ever changed. Because I assure you, as they move to get rid of that flag, nothing has changed. Nothing. But we do have to figure out a way to disagree and stand together at the same time. And that's the lesson that all of this teaches. And that's the one we need to learn quickly. This is the Wells Report.
Sean Hannity believes Donald Trump is teetering.
Here's the next step for Trump if he's serious about running for president, in my opinion. Trump needs to, this is a razor's edge for him. He's got to balance Trump being Trump, and he's got to balance being presidential. He's got to show the American people that he could solve the problems that we now face.
The Sean Hannity Show, afternoons at 2, right before Michael Medved at 5 on 660 AM. The Answer.
If your credit card debt is out of control, if you're in over your head dealing with monthly payments, there's a powerful secret that credit card companies don't want you to know. If you have more than $5,000 in credit card debt, you have the right to settle that debt for a fraction of what you owe. That's bad news for credit card companies, but it's great news for you. We're debt relief advocates, and we're offering you free information on how to virtually eliminate your credit card debt and make your monthly payment affordable. To see how much you could save, call now, 1-800-791-4933. Don't declare bankruptcy. Give us 10 minutes and we could save you thousands. We depend on your success and offer a guarantee, so there's no risk. Find out how easy it is by calling now. For the secret the credit card companies don't want you to know, call Debt Relief Advocates now and see how much money you could save for free. 1-800-791-4933. That's 1-800-791-4933. 1-800-791-4933.
Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Well, it doesn't have to. Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity with your solution and the one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. On average, Josh sells a home every 32 hours and averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. He spends 200 times more money on marketing than the average agent. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644. or getsold.net.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I want to share with you one of the smartest things I ever did. A whole house full of windows from Statewide Remodeling. The benefits were instant. The house looked great. The resale value went way up. And the most important thing, I was saving money immediately on energy bills in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. Let me send you to statewide-remodeling.com. In fact, statewide-remodeling.com, or visit the showrooms in Irving or Collin Creek Mall in Plano. See the windows that I'm talking about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. StatewideRemodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows. from statewide-remodeling.com.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
Square Trade does not cover lost or stolen items. Savings based on 2-year iPhone plan with one claim compared to Assurant total equipment coverage as of April 10th, 2015.
Don't overpay for phone insurance. Save with Square Trade phone protection instead. Phone insurance from Verizon, Sprint, or other wireless carriers can cost you as much as $11 every month, plus up to a $199 deductible when you break your phone. Square Trade phone protection is less than $5 a month. We can save you over $240.
Start saving with Square Trade now. Visit squaretrade.com. That's squaretrade.com.
Geico applauds your inner road name.
A slow clap goes out to your biker alter ego. You might be mild-mannered Michael in the office, the guy known for raising his hand in meetings, but out on the open road, it's Motorbike. Geico supports you and your bike, Motor Mike, because beyond cars, Geico insures motorcycles. Those glorious vroom vroom machines. With 24/7 customer service and great rates, the only thing you'll be raising from now on is a heck of a good time. So head out on the highway and make that road yours, Mike. Make it yours.
Geico Motorcycle. See how much you could save.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. Isn't thinking so much more fun than getting yelled at? The Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Tomorrow, bright and early, Mark Davis will show up with the Mark Davis Show and some very big news stories to talk about. Tell him, Mark.
Hey, JD, good new week to you and a happy Monday night. When school starts next month, some kids are going to skip class. So what happens to them? Texas is about to go much easier on those kids as truancy laws are about to get very soft. Is this a good idea or bad? Also, Scott Walker's announcement day today. How did he do? And yes, I am stoked. Tomorrow morning as the show begins, an American spacecraft will buzz Pluto. I'm so in. So join us. Lots going on. See you tomorrow morning. Mark Davis Show for a Tuesday, 7 to 10, right here on 660 AM The Answer.
Joaquin El Chapo Guzman escaped from a maximum security prison. And on his way out the door, Guzman got into a Twitter snit with Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump. Guzman, head of the notorious Sinaloa drug cartel, hopped on social media shortly after he escaped his cell, bragging about the breakout, and threatening Donald Trump. Yeah. See, apparently what happened was Donald Trump accused Mexico of sending criminals to the U.S. Yeah. And then used El Chapo's escape to criticize U.S. border policies, immigration reform, and the war on drugs. And so, El Chapo, he said that he was going to eat his words. He said that Donald Trump would eat his words. What words did Donald Trump issue after that? Well, Donald Trump stood up and said, Guzman represents everything that is wrong with Mexico, and that he would gladly kick his ass. I don't know. I just thought that was funny. Yeah. Yep. Apparently what he said, if you keep upsetting me, that's a word that starts with a P and rhymes with hisses, I'm going to make you eat your words, you lucky blonde milkshake. Now, obviously, I've changed some of the words because, well, the word milkshake, which is not the word, is a homophobic slur in Mexico. Anyway, El Chapo is out and about, and he's threatening an American presidential candidate. And this American presidential candidate is not being protected by the Secret Service yet. Even though in 2007, and I don't think that President Obama, when he was a candidate, was ever actually threatened by anyone. Yeah. According to the New York Post, Vicky tells me that the president was not ever threatened by anyone like Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the head of the Sinaloa drug cartel. Those people will just kill you. That's all they do. They'll just kill you. I don't know. I think that if I was President Obama, what I would do is I would immediately suggest that the Secret Service start covering Donald Trump's butt. Because, okay, I got it. Donald may think that Joaquin El Chapo Guzman is someone whose butt he could kick, but I assure you that may not necessarily be the case. Now, I don't know whether it was the Zetas or the Sinaloa guys that killed a lawyer in Southlake about a year ago, but I can tell you, they can reach out and touch you. They can do it. Just saying. So the question is this. Why are we working so hard to provide Mexico with a place to export their lower class, their lower economic class, their poor folk, when what they're doing is they're essentially facilitating everything that we spend billions of dollars to fight every year? Now, I realize that there are a lot of really serious Mexican public servants that really, truly want Mexico to stop being stuck in this gigantic cesspool of corruption that their country has spiraled into. And, oh, by the way, that's exemplified by Joaquin El Chapo Guzman magically being able to escape from a maximum security prison in Mexico City. Twice! I realize that there are a lot of people that are serious Mexican patriots that have been absolutely killed to death by these people for trying to stop them. You remember Elliot Ness, the Untouchables, all those guys? They had a particle of the fight that these public servants in Mexico have been trying to fight and trying not to get killed fighting for, I don't know, at least a half a century, at least 50 years. But, you got to come up with a better way of fighting the fight. I happen to know exactly what that would be. Jon-David, you're a talk show host in Dallas, Texas. You have a way of defeating everyone in the war on drugs? Yep. Yes, I do. Well, by all means, share it with us. Okay? If you're serious about winning the war on drugs, and we should be, you close the southern border of the United States of America. I bet you think that the drug cartels are responsible for most of the crystal meth that makes it into the country. No, it's not. You know who it is? China. You know why? Because it's a cash crop for them. That's why. And because they ship it to Mexico, and I'm sure that there are Mexican officials that gladly take a piece of the action and then forward it to the Zetas and the Sinaloa cartel and bring it right over the border. We keep screwing around with not closing the border down, and then we decry people like Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who is going to take advantage of the fact that politicians in the United States are flipping lawless, just plain lawless. That border is open to this day is a monument to every American official that has worked to keep it that way and their participation in the profit side of the drug cartel's business. I'll go so far as to say that anybody who argues against closing that border down completely, tight as a drum, do whatever's necessary to make that happen, those people are working for the cartels. They may not know it, but they are. These guys are serious people. They've got serious help. They've got serious backup. That is such a profitable industry that the entire government of Mexico has been purchased by the drug cartels. How do you get out from underneath it? I have no idea. But how we stop it in the United States? You just stop playing. You turn it all off. Everything. You don't let anybody from Mexico come to the United States at all. You just say, okay, we've had enough. We're turning it off. And then what would happen? Well, everybody would say, of course, it would be the end of the universe and nothing would ever be the same. And my God, space aliens will come and destroy, all the little kids. But in reality, what would happen is probably nothing. But you close that border and suddenly the government of Mexico has a very big problem. They got a whole bunch of criminals in a deep cartel infrastructure that suddenly they just don't have anything to do. The industry stops. And suddenly the government of Mexico has got to reestablish law and order, and that's what you do. We're not opening this border until you guys have a country down there, as opposed to a facilitating organization of bureaucrats for the Sinaloa and Zeta drug cartel. And oh, by the way, while you're at it, how about if you go ahead and get your crap together about taking care of your poorer citizens so we don't have to? Because they're not moving either. And you don't make a big deal out of it, you just do it. And you solve a whole bunch of problems all at once. And why don't we do that? You see, that's the thing that's got me, that's the thing that's got me completely perplexed. The United States could close its border in about 8 hours. Close it. Everybody knows that would stop all the crime. All of it. So why don't we do it? That's the $64 billion question. Why don't we do it? What's the political deal that has nothing to do with we, the people of the United States? What's the big, gigantic political fix that keeps Mexico laughing at us all the way to the bank where their entire lower middle class keeps sending dollars to that country to keep it afloat? You want to get rid of the drug cartels? You want to get rid of all of it without necessarily firing a shot? Here's how you do it. Close the border and tell the Mexican government that until they have a country, they're not opening again. The border stops. Nothing. Everything stops. And then you do this. You can either solve all of these problems or you can start using the American dollar for your currency. Because with the American dollar comes the Treasury Department. And with the Treasury Department comes the Secret Service. I'm not talking about the Presidential Protection Detail. I'm talking about those guys that watch that money go from one place to another and identify all the criminal enterprises as that dollar keeps moving. And then they just write out arrest warrants and they go arrest those guys. That is how you get rid of all of this. And again, it only begs the question why we don't do it. You got the answer? 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. Imagine living next to a country that's so corrupt that even your country can't escape the corruption. Isn't that amazing? This is the Wells Report.
Are you ready to experience Israel?
Every once in a while, an opportunity to do something truly special comes along. An opportunity for an unforgettable and timely expedition to the land of Israel. This year, be a part of the Stand with Israel tour. Spend 9 days this fall in the fascinating and dramatic land of Israel with Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager. Enjoy first-class accommodations and meals in comfort and safety. Visit 660amtheanswer.com for all the details and to register now. That's 660amtheanswer.com.
Our country was built upon the foundation of strong men and women who had a vision for what America should look like decades ahead. From the brave soldiers who battled for our freedom to the police and firemen who keep us safe here at home. These are the people who have built the foundation that can support America for years to come. Foundations are just as important for your home as those men and women are for our beautiful country. And that's why Alliance Foundation is here to help. At Alliance Foundation, they know just what your home needs. It may not be the cheapest quote out there, but it's definitely going to be the one that does the job right. Wouldn't you rather take the time to have it done right the first time and not have to go do it over again? Alliance Foundation knows that you don't put a Band-Aid on something that needs stitches. Alliance Foundation also wants to give all former and current military, as well as emergency servicemen, a 10% discount on all their jobs. So go online to AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com. That's AllianceFoundationRepairTexas.com.
Have you been holding out for a good deal to replace your old AC system? Well, now there's a new program that's too good to pass up. I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. You've probably already heard that you can save over $3,500 on a new Infinity system with Carrier's Cool Cash, but did you know that for a limited time, you can also get an additional $1,000 off from your utility provider? That's right. And when you combine these two programs, we're talking saving over $4,500 on a brand new AC system that can cut your electric bill in half. But the utility funds are limited, and the program will end when the money runs out. So right now, we're scheduling free estimates on a first-come, first-served basis. Call us now, or if you want, call 2 other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437, or online at ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
You installed antivirus software to protect your computer. You've subscribed to an identity theft monitoring service to protect your personal information. But have you considered protecting your family? What if something happened to you? How would your family make ends meet? Protect your loved ones and their future with an American National Term Life Insurance policy. American National offers simple-to-understand policies that are flexible and affordable. Plus, your rates are locked in for the term you choose. You have important people in your life. Protect them for as little as $1 per day. Call American National at 888-895-9673. That's 888-895-9673 for a quick quote or apply online at AnicoLife.com. That's ANICOLife.com. And take 10 minutes to secure your loved one's future. American National has been insuring families since 1905. Call now, 1-888-895-9673, or go to AnicoLife.com, ANICOLife.com.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-952-3467. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to use the bathroom, speed up bathroom trips, reduce waking at night to go, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-952-3467. That's 1-800-952-3467. Call 1-800-952-3467.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
Learn a little something at the start of your day. The Mark Davis Show. Mornings 7 to 10 on 660 AM. The Answer. Now, the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM. The Answer.
By the way, while we're talking about lawless, corrupt, crazy government ideologies, President Obama granted clemency to 46 men and women who faced decades in prison for mainly cocaine trafficking. Yeah, you see, the punishments didn't fit the crime. If they had been sentenced under today's laws, nearly all of them would have already served their time. 46 commutations, the most granted by a president in a single day since the 60s, involved drug crimes. All of them involved drug crimes. Cocaine trafficking, which takes us back to Joaquin El Chapo Guzman. Where did that flippin' cocaine come from that these people, these nonviolent criminals that were just simply misunderstood, where did that cocaine come from that they were trafficking? Oh, these people were just basically gardeners who ran afoul of the lure of easy money and got into the cocaine business. And I suppose they got their cocaine from other plant-eating vegetarians who were just loving people trying to make as many stuffed animals as they can and fill them with cocaine. And who did they get their cocaine from? Oh, that's right. They got their cocaine from people like Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, who's been raping and killing and murdering and kidnapping for decades, just south of the American border, making sure that these nonviolent criminals had product to sell. Mr. President, you blew it again. Again. This is the Wells Report.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
Hi, this is Jon-David Wells from the Wells Report for Walt Parker at InvestingMakesMeSick.com. Save this date, July 23rd at 6:30 p.m. Join me at their dinner seminar at Papado Restaurant in Fort Worth. No fuss, no hassle. Great education on investment choices other than stocks, bonds, mutual funds, or annuities with a no-cost meal to boot. You'll learn why you should understand your investments and also why you should not invest anywhere until you do understand them. You'll also find out why they prefer the We Come to You service provided by InvestingMakesMeSick.com. To reserve your spot for this free seminar at Papado Restaurant in Fort Worth on July 23rd at 6:30 p.m., call 972-463-3833. That's 972-463-3833. Or register by logging on to InvestingMakesMeSick.com. Security and investment advisory services offered through Titan Securities. Member of FINRA SIPCI. InvestingMakesMeSick.com and Titan Securities are not affiliated. Investment subject to individual investor suitability and risk tolerance. Investments involve a high degree of risk, may be considered speculative, and may result in the entire loss of the amount invested. May also incur substantial fees and expenses, which are borne by the investor.
Improve the look of your home for less with hardwood floors from Lumber Liquidators. Choose from over 400 styles of hardwood, bamboo, wood look tile, and more, all for a lot less than other stores. This week, get gorgeous pre-finished 3/4-inch solid copper hevia hardwood for $3.29 and more from 99 cents. $2 instant savings on our hottest Bellawood matte finished hardwood floors. North American and European laminate from 49 cents and more.
And 18-month special financing.
For the floor you want at the price you deserve, visit lumberliquidators.com to find a store near you.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM. KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Steve Rappaport. Another Republican joins the race for 2016.
My record shows that I know how to fight and win. Now more than ever, America needs a president who will fight and win.
Check. It's promo time in the big city. Test 1 2 3 5 5 4 3 2 1. All right, so here we go. You know what the final sticking point was in the Iran nuclear deal? You know what the final sticking point was in the Iran nuclear deal? Well, according to the Wall Street Journal, it was the UN weapons embargo against that theocracy that is the #1 terrorist state in the world. Apparently, what happened is they went ahead and said, okay, we'll lift the arms embargo too. We'll lift the arms embargo too. Really? Well, at least all those people will be killed with something at least all those upcoming victims of the Iranian state will be killed with non-nuclear weapons. What a victory. We talk about it next time on the Wells Report. You want me to do it again?
The deal is not all the way done that we know. And you stated in that promo that the deal was done.
It's done. They're going to sign tomorrow.
Well, okay then. I don't have any problems then.
Okay. Mark Davis, thanks very much for letting me have this moment on your fine radio broadcast. Tell people what's coming up later on tonight on the Wells Report. We're going to talk about the Iranian nuclear deal. Apparently, the final sticking point had to do with the UN weapons embargo, which thankfully has been lifted by the caving to anything John Kerry and the P+5+6+1 = I thought it was EMC. I thought it was E = MC squared, but apparently not. Anyway, so what's happening now is that let me try this. I'm going to start over again. It was. Mark Davis, thank you very much for this opportunity to tell people what's coming up on the Wells Report later on tonight. We're going to talk about the Iranian nuclear weapons deal. Yeah, apparently the final sticking point had to do with that pesky UN arms embargo. So they found a way to do away with that so that now the #1 state sponsor of terror in the world will have non-nuclear weapons to kill more people with, as opposed to nuclear ones that well, they'll have later to kill more people with. We'll discuss the ridiculous foolishness of all of it later on tonight on the Wells Report.
And further. But if you don't want to support Hillary or other leftist candidates and causes, switch to EOS Mobile. EOS Mobile. Website is EOScell, EOScell.com to learn more. EOS has the same great nationwide network, high-speed data, voice, pretty much everywhere across the country. EOS has the same devices you have come to love. And with plans starting at $9.99, a plan for every budget. Best of all, EOS Mobile at EOScell.com gives 5% of each bill to conservative causes and candidates. If you're stuck in a contract, they'll buy you out. If you want your phone bill to support conservative candidates, the choice is clear. EOScell.com. Learn more now at EOScell.com. EOScell.com. Same phones, same service, better causes. EOScell.com. EOScell.com. Summertime. Kids are out of school. It's vacations all around, but let's get very serious about the fall and next year and the rest of your financial life. Here's an opportunity at the end of July 31st, August 1st, in fact, to get into the latest New Venture on Wall Street seminars. Hey, Mark Davis, I've done this and I loved it. It has helped me enormously. NVOWS.com, the website for New Venture on Wall Street. NVOWS.com. See what they do. Pastor David Mitchell's plan on helping you get into the stock market and understand it a little better, be a little smarter, invest a little more wisely, retire earlier, get a second income stream. There's a seminar in Fort Worth at the Norris Conference Center on Houston Street, another in Richardson on East Campbell Road at the Hyatt Regency. Take your pick, July 31st, August 1st, and call and get yourself a seat right now. 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE. New Venture on Wall Street. Learn about it at NVOWS.com. NVOWS.com. Then get your seat now at 877-907-TRADE. 877-907-TRADE.
You installed antivirus software to protect your computer. You've subscribed to an identity theft monitoring service to protect your personal information. But have you considered protecting your family? What if something happened to you? How would your family make ends meet? Protect your loved ones and their future with an American National Term Life Insurance policy. American National offers simple-to-understand policies that are flexible and affordable. Plus, your rates are locked in for the term you choose. You have important people in your life. Protect them for as little as $1 per day. Call American National at 888-895-9673. That's 888-895-9673 for a quick quote, or apply online at AnicoLife.com. That's ANICOLife.com. And take 10 minutes to secure your loved one's future. American National has been insuring families since 1905. Call now, 1-888-895-9673, or go to AnicoLife.com, ANICOLife.com.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
Saying I don't know is no longer acceptable. This is 660 AM, The Answer. Is anybody out there paying attention to what's going on in this country, in this state, and in this city? We know one man who is. You got questions? He's got answers. This is the Wells Report with Jon-David Wells on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Thanks very much for allowing me to sit here with you and talk to you about really important stuff. You are listening to the Wells Reports, and it's really important stuff. I'm just saying. 866-660-5759, 866-660-5759. By the way, it's time now for obviously untrue news. It has to be untrue, Magic. Yeah. Americans need to stop believing their lying eyes, says Breitbart, and understand that the more illegal immigrants stream across the border, the more the crime rates fall, and that these people are just trying to make a living. That's all they're trying to do. Well, and also, have a little fun doing it. So it's obviously untrue that Aurelio Hernandez Gomez was guilty of kidnapping and raping a 13-year-old Florida girl who vanished with him shortly before they were found. Cops acted on a tip that led them to a Hartford home where Hernandez Gomez hid the girl while he was assaulting her. Mexican authorities charged Hernandez Gomez with one count of third-degree criminal sex conduct, meaning they believe he raped or otherwise raped the girl after incapacitating her or rendering her helpless. They have not released further details. That's Michigan authorities charged him. They have not released further details, such as whether or not the victim was related to the alien suspect. Hernandez Gomez being held on $150,000 bond. He'll be back in court day after tomorrow. Florida authorities plan to charge him with interference with child custody and felony kidnapping. This is after Michigan ships him back to Polk County, Florida. And then, of course, at an unspecified date, U.S. Immigration's Customs and Enforcement will have their way with him. Hernandez Gomez will likely say, what's the big deal? I mean, after all, in my hometown of Chiapas, Mexico, the sexual age of consent is, wait for it, 12. What? 12? The sexual age of consent in Chiapas, Mexico is 12. Here's the news article. Oh, great EP. Would you mind double checking that for me? Thanks very much. Paul Bedard writes in the Washington Examiner that 276 sanctuary cities allowed 8,145 illegal offenders to go free in just 8 months, for a total of over 17,000. 276 sanctuary cities, nearly 50% more than previously revealed, released over 8,000 illegal immigrants with criminal records or facing charges free, despite federal requests they be turned over to Immigration and Customs Enforcement for deportation. This, according to an explosive new report. The Center for Immigration Studies revealed new numbers it received under the Freedom of Information Act that said those releases from cities ignored federal demands and came over just 8 months, and are a part of an even larger release of 17,000 illegals with criminal records. The author, Jessica Vaughn, Director of Policy Studies for the Centers for Immigration Studies, also reported that many of those illegals have been rearrested after their release and charged with nearly 7,500 new charges, including child sex abuse. The report, titled Ignoring Detainers, Endangering Communities, State, Local Agencies Release Criminals Rather Than Obey Law, is expected to fuel U.S. anger over sanctuary cities and the murder by one freed illegal of a San Francisco woman earlier this month. The article that we just referenced is correct. The age of sexual consent in Chiapas, Mexico is age 12. Throughout Mexico?
Yep.
Are you okay?
I'm pretty disgusted.
You're okay, right? She takes that kind of stuff really seriously. 12. 12 years old. Wow. So does that make me a bigot for trying to close the border so that this can at least slow down? Does that make
Here's
me
how the law's written.
Does
Okay,
that
the
make me
age
a
of
bigot?
12 is the minimum age of consent.
Yeah.
Okay, while the age at which there are no restrictions for consensual is 18, but still someone between the ages of 12 and 18, it's not illegal per se in quotes, and can still be open to prosecution under certain circumstances.
Did everybody hear that? Okay. Okay. Rasmussen reports, following the murder of a young woman in San Francisco by an illegal immigrant from Mexico, voters want to get tough on so-called sanctuary cities that refuse to enforce immigration law. 62% of likely U.S. voters think the U.S. Justice Department should take legal action against cities that provide sanctuary for illegal immigrants. The latest Rasmussen Reports National Telephone Survey finds that just 26% oppose Justice Department action against sanctuary cities. 12% are undecided. "58% believe the federal government should cut off funds to cities that provide sanctuary for illegal immigrants. 32% disagree, 10% are still not sure. This marks little change from May of 2011 when legislation was unsuccessfully proposed in Congress to stop all federal funding for sanctuary cities. Republicans and unaffiliated voters are much stronger supporters of both actions than Democrats are." What's the minimum age of consent to become a Democrat? I know you can change back at any time, but what's the minimum age you can actually declare yourself to be a Democrat? Well, no, wait a minute. No, I'm not talking about age of consent to have sex. I'm talking about age of consent to be a Democrat. So let me see. So okay, so you say 18 because that's when you fill out your voter registration card. Well, how old do you have to be able to get Plan B without your parents' permission? Is it 13 or just tall enough to reach the counter? I don't think anybody can be told no. So what are we thinking? Tall enough to reach the counter got to be what, 6? So 9? I know 6-year-old girls that are tall enough to reach the counter at a drugstore. 9? 6. So that's all you have to do to be a Democrat. You have to be 9 or 6, somewhere between 9 and 6. In addition to San Francisco, numerous major cities in the United States are now sanctuary cities, including New York, Washington, D.C., Los Angeles, Miami, Denver, Chicago, Philadelphia. They got this wrong, by the way. Houston told us yesterday that they are not a sanctuary city, but Rasmussen report that they are reporting that they are, and also Detroit. By the way, we have a sanctuary city in North Texas, that one at least that we're sure of, and that is Denton. If you live in Denton, you need to find out whether or not your city is a sanctuary city, because if your city is a sanctuary city, I'm about to descend on Denton like a ton of flipping bricks. Okay. And I'm not kidding. I have the capability of being able to broadcast from the mayor's parking place, and I will. Voters told Rasmussen Reports 2 years ago the best ways to stop illegal immigration are to impose strong penalties on those who hire them and end federal funding for sanctuary cities. The survey of 1,000 likely U.S. voters was conducted July 8th through the 9th, 2015 by Rasmussen. The margin of error is plus or minus 3 percentage points. And then there's this. No besos con pollos. No besos con un pollo. It's un besos un pollo. No besos un pollo. Hey, this was part of the pre-production meeting, Magic. If you don't get to yell at me if you're not in the pre-production meeting. We did this. We talked about this. The EP and I talked about this.
I had busy with my SEC sports.
I know you were busy with SEC sports. We were talking about real, honest to goodness content. While you were going over the Title IX field hockey results of the SEC.
It's Title VII.
Title VII, whatever. I don't care. The only thing I know about...
I had real work to do.
The only thing I know about college field hockey is that thanks to the ESPN body issue, I realized that that's a real sport. Did you see that? Did you see that magazine? I know, I distracted myself, but that's not the point. You got to get the body issue of ESPN, the magazine. Okay? Has he not seen it? It's, gosh, I love that. I mean, it's amazing. What? Whatever. Okay, so what I just said was, no besos un pollos. That means don't kiss the chickens. Don't kiss your chicken. Okay, don't kiss your chicken. Why should you not kiss your chicken? Now, we got the Spanish phraseology for don't kiss your chicken, right? We could not find the Spanish for don't cuddle with your chicken. So if you happen to know what the Spanish is for don't cuddle with your chicken, please join us, 866-660-5759. And by the way, don't teach us something incredibly dirty and then tell us that it's don't cuddle with your chicken, because that would be mean. And we don't want that. So what we want you to do is tell us how to say don't cuddle with your chicken in Spanish. And I'll tell you why you shouldn't kiss or cuddle with your chicken in Spanish or any other language next on the Wells Report.
The Mark Davis Show.
When school starts next month, some kids are going to skip class. Texas is about to go much easier on those kids as truancy laws get very soft. Good idea or bad? Also, Scott Walker announcement day. How did he do? And yes, I'm stoked about the American spacecraft that will buzz Pluto as our Tuesday show begins. So do come join us.
The Mark Davis Show. Weekday mornings at 7, right before Mike Gallagher at 10 on 660 AM. The Answer.
Hi, this is Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor. I'd like for you to join me on my talk show this weekend. What I do is teach people how to go the natural, organic route. I stir up trouble, too, because I throw out some things that a lot of people just don't think are correct. You know what? We have a lot of experience to back up what we recommend. Have healthier gardens and more fun gardening. Join me this and every weekend.
Join Howard Garrett, the Dirt Doctor, every Sunday morning from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. right here on 660 a.m. The Answer.
This is Hugh Hewitt for townhall.com. No sooner had the Supreme Court issued its gay marriage decision that voices began calling for the end of tax-exempt status for churches, colleges, and other organizations that hold to a Judeo-Christian view of sexual morality. There is a new law in the land, but not a new morality. And the issue is whether holding to this traditional morality will soon be the equivalent of holding racist views in the eyes of the Internal Revenue Service, and thus the cause of losing tax-exempt status. We hope not. We pray not. And we urge proponents of the decision last month to step up and say, no, this is not what we thought. In the meantime, we urge all churches, parachurches, and not-for-profits with morality as a central tenet of their being to contact the Alliance Defending Freedom to learn what they ought to do to prepare for the challenges that are now very clearly in front of us. It's time to prepare now, not after the attack on tax-exempt status has occurred. I'm Hugh Hewitt.
For daily commentary, news, interviews, and the Town Hall Review Weekend program,
Go to townhallreview.com.
Hey, it's Mark Davis for my friends at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. When it comes to treating prostate cancer, it's something this sensitive in your life, guys. You want people who have a lot of experience. And at USMD, the surgeons have completed a combined 5,000 prostatectomies. The Da Vinci robotic system, incredible technology, incredible doctors. And look, let's talk about diagnosing and testing. They'll get you plugged into all you need to know at 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. 10, 20 years ago, about 1/3 of men diagnosed, boom, they already had some type of cancer by the time they were diagnosed. Now that's shrunken up considerably. Lots more early detection. Be a part of that. Live longer. Be there for your wives. Be there for your families. Be there at USMD Prostate Cancer Center. They're going to help beat down prostate cancer and save guys' lives every day. 1-888-PROSTATE or 888prostate.com. No more farming around all over town looking for this doctor, then that doctor. One place, one location, one best standard of care. USMD Prostate Cancer Center, 1-888-PROSTATE, 1-888-PROSTATE, or 888prostate.com.
Hi, I'm Jeff Stewart with Reliant Air Conditioning. Let's talk about in-home sales. When I have a salesman in my home, I only want to know two things. What do I really need and how much does it cost? I just don't have time for the whole dog and pony show. So that's how we structured our sales process. There's no drawn-out sales presentation, and we don't waste your time with silly gimmicks. There's no haggling, no calling the sales manager for a secret conversation you're not a part of, and most importantly, no pressure. We simply lay out all the options, discuss the benefits, and then let you choose what's best for you. We give you the right price the first time. It's just easier that way. Right now, you can save over $3,500 on a new Carrier Infinity system. So call two other companies first, and then call Reliant Air Conditioning, and you'll see how we've been gimmick-free since '83. Our number's 877-YOUR-HERO. That's 877-968-7437 or ReliantAirConditioning.com.
Reliant Air Conditioning. Call 877-YOUR-HERO.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I want to share with you one of the smartest things I ever did. A whole house full of windows from Statewide Remodeling. The benefits were instant. The house looked great. The resale value went way up. And the most important thing, I was saving money immediately on energy bills in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. Let me send you to StatewideRemodeling.com. In fact, StatewideRemodeling.com, or visit the showrooms in Irving or Collin Creek Mall in Plano. See the windows that I'm talking about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. StatewideRemodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows from StatewideRemodeling.com.
660 AM. 660 AM. The Answer. 660 AM. TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report. Must hear radio on 660 AM. The Answer.
No te abrace su pollo. No te abrace su pollo. No te abrace su pollo. Do not cuddle your chicken. And no beses, no beso, what is it? No beses un pollo. Don't kiss your chicken. Why? Well, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention put out a report last week that people who cuddle and kiss their chickens are very likely to come down with salmonella. Yikes. Yep. There are lots of people that are suffering from salmonella poisoning, and they have reported that they brought live poultry into their homes, and other people reported that they had been kissing or cuddling their pollos. Don't you do it. What? I am not. I am not at all. I am speaking to the people that I care about, that I love. People that cuddle and kiss their chickens. I'm not talking to the people who count their chickens before they're hatched. I'm talking to people who cuddle and kiss their chickens. By the way, that's not so rare. Before I came here, I was out looking at I can't remember. I think the house was in North Carolina. We went and looked at a house to buy in North Carolina. It was a fantastic little house. It came with a fantastic little farm. And on the fantastic little farm were Rhode Island red hens and roosters They crawled up into your lap and started noodling with you. It was the weirdest thing ever. They were like big cats. So believe me, there's a lot of kissing and cuddling that could go along with your chicken. Don't think, I know you're thinking it. I'm not going there. I just want you to understand that, all right? Kissing and cuddling with your chicken increase a person's risk of a salmonella infection. But the same thing can happen if you cuddle and kiss your skink. That's a big lizard, in case you don't know. Skinks also carry salmonella. And what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep you healthy. Here on the Wells Report. So far this year, there have been 181 cases of non-deadly but very uncomfortable salmonella infection in the U.S. 33 people have been hospitalized over it. The infection usually resolves within a week or so, but causes abdominal cramping, diarrhea, fever. When the Washington Examiner asked how many people had actually admitted to kissing or cuddling a chicken, the CDC refused to respond. They told reporters that they don't have that level of data. Have you now or have you ever cuddled or kissed a pollo? Never? I have kissed and cuddled a pollo. And I meant it. Some cute little chickens. Well, they were. Coming up next, Lost in Space. And no, I'm not talking about a silly 60s TV show or a Mark Wahlberg film. I'm talking about us. I'll explain the whole thing next. This is the Wells Report.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now, because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-952-3467. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to use the bathroom, speed up bathroom trips, reduce waking at night to go, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-952-3467. That's 1-800-952-3467. Call 1-800-952-3467.
Is negative content or comments on the web affecting your personal or professional reputation? Unfavorable comments, embarrassing pictures, videos, legal documents, and bad tweets can ruin your personal life, your career, or your business. It happens a lot, and it's just not fair. But what can you do? Reputation.com can protect your good name. Get a free consultation now at 800-651-4888. That's 800-651-4888. Call right now for a free expert reputation analysis. It's easy to squash the unfair attacks with our patented system, and the analysis is absolutely free. Make the best things about you jump out in searches. Protect your personal and professional reputation, your business, and your income. Get your free reputation analysis right now. Call 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888. 800-651-4888.
The Good Contractors List is a free service designed to protect you. We meet all of our home service contractors face to face and feel so confident in our final choices that we back their work with a $10,000 guarantee. We go the extra mile in our interview process to make sure that the contractor is not only honest in quality, but able to offer the most affordable and fair rates. For instance, how do you pick who you call for air conditioning? Did you know that the air conditioning industry is commonly known for misdiagnosis and unneeded upselling? The higher their overhead, the more money they need to stay in business. So they flash tempting offers to get their foot in the door, and the sales game is on. The air conditioning companies we choose are simply stable and proven companies that offer the highest quality at fair and honest rates. And to protect you, they've all agreed to do an absolutely free second opinion if you're being told that you have to replace your air conditioning unit. If you need AC or any other type of home service, visit thegoodcontractorslist.com first.
Contractors List. Hey, does the idea of having your home sold on time without hassle and for top dollar, does that seem unrealistic to you? Hey, Dallas, it's your friend Sean Hannity, one real estate agent to sell your home guaranteed. That's Josh DeShong of Josh DeShong Real Estate at Keller Williams. Josh averages hundreds of local, national, and international buyers every single week. Now, that means your home sells on time at a price that you agreed to, guaranteed, or Josh will buy it. Josh's clients voted, and both D Magazine and Texas Monthly ranked him as the best real estate agent in Dallas. Real estate mogul and Shark Tank star Barbara Corcoran only recommends Josh in DFW. And if I lived in Dallas and needed my home sold, guess what? I'd call Josh DeShong, and you should too. Call Josh now at 972-325-6644 or go online at getsold.net. That's 972-325-6644 or getsold.net and start packing.
Policies issued by American General Life Insurance Company, Houston, Texas. Not available in all states. For details, visit AIGdirect.com.
It takes a lot of courage to face your own death, but I'm glad I finally did. See, I was putting off getting life insurance to protect my family, even though I knew it was important. Then my neighbor's husband died. I watched her struggle emotionally and financially. It really made me face reality. If my husband died, how would I pay the mortgage, the car payments, or keep up the life the kids and I had? I realized I needed to get us life insurance right away. So I called AIG Direct. In less than 5 minutes, I had a quote. I was shocked at how affordable it is. Just $14 a month for $250,000 of term life coverage. I feel so much better knowing my family has protection.
Call AIG Direct right now for a free no-obligation quote. The call takes less than 5 minutes, and you can save up to 70%. Call now, 1-800-922-2353. That's 1-800-922-2353. 1-800-922-2353.
660 AM, The Answer. 660 AM, TheAnswer.com. The Wells Report is on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. My name is Jon-David Wells. Last March, we celebrated the late Ed White's first American walk in space. Alexei, what's his name? Leonov. Alexei Leonov had done it earlier for the Soviet Union's space program. And strangely enough, 40 years ago, the Apollo-Soyuz mission brought the Cold War adversaries together. That was 40 years ago. I was 17. The first walk in space, 50 years ago, Alexei Leonov. By the way, Alexei Leonov almost died. He got out of the Soyuz spacecraft, and he couldn't get back in. What he had to do was he had to let the air pressure out of his suit until it was small enough for him to re-enter the spacecraft. Just how amazing are these astronauts? They're unbelievable. Just unbelievable. At the end of the Apollo space program, Walter Mondale came up with a phrase that would haunt America for the rest of our lives, at least up to this point, when he said that all that money needed to be spent at home, not in space. Well, he got his wish. We ended up creating a spacecraft that would be more cost-effective than Apollo spacecrafts, the Saturn V booster that lifted it into space, et cetera, et cetera. It gave us the space shuttle. And even the space shuttle was a collection of compromises that led to the death of 14 astronauts. Now what we have in space are robots. One is due to fly past Pluto tomorrow. And finally, after all the years of reading about this small planet at the very edge of the solar system, we're actually going to get to see what it looks like. That's going to be cool. 25 years ago, April 25th, the Space Shuttle Discovery put the Hubble Space Telescope into orbit around the Earth. In its quarter century of stargazing, Hubble has significantly altered the world's perception of the cosmos and has furthered humankind's understanding of the universe. It has revealed previously unattainable properties of space and time. It is a unique scientific facility that continues to provide new views of the heavens and opens the door to discoveries. But Hubble is more than just an outstanding science facility. It is living testimony to the values of humans in space. There would be no functioning Hubble Space Telescope without people like Story Musgrave, who went up there and saved it. That was an amazing mission. It was truly incredible that they were able to fix all of it after it was launched with an almost insurmountable flaw. The successful repair of Hubble was because of an original requirement in the design philosophy that provided for periodic visits by the space shuttle. The designers of the telescope planned ahead and provided for orbital replacement units and instruments with standardized and spacewalk-compatible interfaces. And the telescope itself was designed with built-in astronaut crew aids such as handrails, tether points, sockets for attaching portable foot restraints, and so on and so on. It took 3.5 years to complete the design, development, and testing of the instruments and modifications necessary to restore Hubble for it to become a productive and revolutionary science facility. It also took intensive training and planning to prepare a crew of astronauts for what would be the most ambitious shuttle mission ever attempted. 5 back-to-back spacewalks, a record number on a single mission, were planned to replace Hubble's 2 solar arrays, correct the telescope's blurry vision, and replace gyroscopes and other equipment. After years of effort and hours of exhaustive training, the Space Shuttle Endeavour launched December 2nd, 1993. The astronauts captured the telescope, mounted it on a platform in Endeavour's cargo bay, and over the next 5 days, 4 astronauts installed the 2 instruments designed to correct Hubble's vision problems. They also installed two new solar arrays, 4 new stabilizing gyroscopes, and electronic controls for the gyro packs, additional computer memory, a new solar array drive control system, fuses, a new cable to fix an instrument power supply, and 2 new position sensing magnetometers. Since that 93 repair mission, Hubble has revolutionized astronomy. It's one of the most notable spacecraft ever launched. Since 1993, the Space Shuttle and astronauts have visited the Hubble Space Telescope 4 more repair and servicing missions. Shuttle Discovery, February 1997. December 1999, Columbia. March 2002, Atlantis, in May 2009. During the Atlanta mission, 2 instruments had to be repaired over the course of 5 spacewalks, a task not envisioned by the telescope's designers. Astronauts had to access the interior of the instrument, change components, reroute power. It was complex and demanding, yet the astronauts were successful. 2 new instruments gave Hubble a full complement of 5 functioning instruments. The space shuttle and its astronauts had again restored the Hubble Space Telescope and kept it alive to produce extraordinary science. On each successive mission, they left Hubble a far better and more capable facility than what it was when it was launched in 1990. But with the end of the shuttle program, the servicing and repair missions ended. Hubble is on its own. The shuttle and the astronauts proved to be the salvation of the telescope. But over and above ensuring its success, the shuttle proved its value, able to repair and service and retrieve satellites it carried to orbit large modules of the International Space Station, and enabled their installation and overall assembly of that amazing, large man-made structure in space, the largest, in fact. The shuttle was designed and built by the generation of engineers that had made the Apollo program a success. It had fulfilled their vision of what was needed to support a vibrant and active space program. They saw low Earth orbit as a gateway to space and the need for permanent capability in this region to open that gateway. The shuttle, with its construction and maintenance capability in low Earth orbit, achieved that goal and in turn supported the access and development in regions farther away from Earth. It could have been a far better system, and would have been, if Congress had just decided to give it a little more money when they were building it. On July 21st, it will be 4 years since the Space Shuttle Atlantis landed at the John F. Kennedy Space Center. Its 13-day mission to the International Space Station was the 135th shuttle flight. With the words of Barry Wilmore from Mission Control in Houston, we congratulate you, Atlantis, as well as thousands of passionate individuals across this great spacefaring nation who truly empowered this incredible spacecraft, which has inspired millions around the globe. And with those words, the space shuttle program ended. One of those thousands of passionate individuals was my father. Space shuttles have taken 355 people to space. Since their demise in 2011, the United States has been unable to put people into space except on other nations' spacecraft. It's a capability the U.S. has had since Alan Shepard's first flight in May of 1961. The U.S. went from flying and operating the most advanced and capable spacecrafts in the world to flying as passengers under foreign command. Americans continue to journey to space on the Soyuz spacecraft, but we are no longer able to work on facilities such as Hubble or assemble large structures in space. We will look back on the space shuttle one day and realize what the nation lost, or rather, what it gave up. It was President George W. Bush who decided to end the space shuttle program. He did so when he initiated a new program to return to the moon. On January 14, 2004, he proposed that NASA refocus its programs and resources with the objective of returning humans to the moon and plan for the prospect of humans going onward to Mars. Bush's vision for space exploration had three goals: to complete the International Space Station by 2010, develop and test a new spacecraft by 2008, and conduct the first manned mission no later than 2014, return to the moon by 2020, and use it as a launching point for missions beyond. When President Obama arrived in 2009, he established the Review of U.S. Human Space Flight Plans Committee, chaired by Norman Augustine, to assess the status and future of the Constellation program, which was the name of the planned mission back to the moon. The 2004 plan to develop and test a new spacecraft by 2008 had not occurred. The original 2005 schedule for Constellation had envisioned Ares 1 and Orion, two essential elements, being ready to support the International Space Station by 2012. By the summer of 2009, the date had been pushed back to 2015. An independent assessment of the technical, budgetary, and schedule risk to the Constellation program indicated that an additional delay of at least 2 years was likely, meaning that Ares 1 and Orion would not reach the International Space Station before the station's then-planned termination date of 2015. Continuing to work on Constellation would have resulted in a gap of nearly 7 years in Americans' ability to launch astronauts into space. During that time, America would have to rely entirely on Russia if it wanted to send astronauts up. The committee, in considering the budget for the exploration program, thought that a meaningful human exploration beyond low Earth orbit would require $3 billion worth of increases in NASA's annual budget above the fiscal 2010 figures. Like most major vehicle development programs, Constellation faced technical challenges. The committee decided that although the engineering problems could have been solved, doing so would add to costs and delay. As author Joan Johnson Fries stated, Constellation, the vision for space exploration, was doomed from its inception as a mismatch between the ways, means, ends required for any kind of programmatic success. NASA's budget, the Augustine Commission said, should match its mission and goals. Amid the Great Recession, the American troops fighting foreign wars, President Obama had to decide whether to spend more money to return to a timeline close to the 2004 vision. Instead, he canceled Constellation. Human spaceflight has historically been a measure of a country's leadership. America's inability to put a man in space has affected the perceptions about U.S. leadership in space, and that is likely to continue for some time. There have been 3 major reviews of NASA and its programs in the past 3 years. The National Space Foundation published a report called Pioneering, Sustaining U.S. Leadership in Space. The National Research Council published a report the same month, NASA's strategic direction and the need for a national consensus. 2 years later, Exploration, Rationales and Approaches for U.S. Program of Human Space Exploration. That was published by the National Research Council. All this has done is created reports and talking and politics and failure. A program once at the very zenith of American and human achievement now barely exists in the memories of all of us because of politics. This is the Wells Report.
Hey, it's Mark Davis. I want to share with you one of the smartest things I ever did. A whole house full of
New
windows from
Horizons will
statewide
pass-
remodeling. The benefits were
pass
instant. The house looked great.
window
The resale
at
value went way
6:49
up.
in the morning.
The most important thing, I was saving money immediately on energy bills in the heat of the summer and the cold of the winter. Let me send you to statewide-remodeling.com. In fact, statewide-remodeling.com, or visit the showrooms in Irving or Collin Creek Mall in Plano. See the windows that I'm talking about. It's fantastic people doing great work and 50% off window installations and 100% financing with approved credit. The time is now to get your home energy efficient. Those builder's grade windows, you are leaking air conditioning out into the hot out of doors. Stop doing that. Get energy efficiency and beauty from windows with Statewide Remodeling. They've done so many things for me. I love them, and you will too. Statewide-remodeling.com. Check them out. Give them a call, 888-270-7095. That's 888-270-7095. You will love your new windows from statewide-remodeling.com.
Our family had a savings account until our air conditioner needed replacing.
We had a vacation fund before our refrigerator had a meltdown.
My family has no savings and our water heater just quit.
Sadly, sometimes it only takes one home system or appliance breakdown to bust your budget. But buying a home warranty from American Home Shield protects more of your hard-earned money because they help pay your covered repairs for you. For valuable free information, go to ahs.com or call 1-800-617-9244. Who wants to pour money into repairs for things like your air conditioner, refrigerator, plumbing, oven, or washer when you get the budget protection you deserve from American Home Shield? Service requests are subject to a fee for each trade called. Some exclusions and limitations apply. It's up to you. Pay for expensive home system and appliance repairs yourself, or let AHS help pay covered repairs for you. Protect more of your hard-earned money. For valuable free information, including terms, rates, and coverage, go to ahs.com. That's ahs.com, or call 1-800-617-9244.
Did you know by age 50, half of all men have an enlarged prostate? This means more trips to the bathroom, longer time in the bathroom, waking at night to go, or issues in your romantic life. If this sounds familiar, call us now. because we're shipping free bottles of Super Beta Prostate to listeners of this station. Super Beta Prostate is a non-prescription formula guaranteed to reduce the symptoms of your enlarged prostate. It's yours free. Pay only shipping and handling. Just call 1-800-952-3467. In clinical trials, the ingredient in Super Beta Prostate was shown to reduce urges to use the bathroom, speed up bathroom trips, reduce waking at night to go, and improve quality of life. This Super Beta Prostate free offer is for listeners of this station, but it won't last. Don't wait. Just call 1-800-952-3467. That's 1-800-952-3467. Call 1-800-952-3467.
You're on vacation when you feel it pop. Your tooth just broke. You're 1,000 miles from your regular dentist, so this is going to cost a small fortune. But not if you have the Dental and Vision Plus plan from MyDiscountHealth.com. Get discounts of 5 to 60% at participating providers all over the U.S. With MyDiscountHealth.com, save on routine exams, cleanings, even major work like dentures and root canals. The plan at MyDiscountHealth.com comes with discounts on prescription drugs, eyeglasses, and more, all for only $13 per month. Medicare doesn't cover dental work, so this is perfect for you. Learn more. Call 844-450-2273. That's 844-450-2273. This plan is not insurance. Members pay participating providers and receive discounts immediately. Savings will vary by provider and service. Cancel within 30 days to get a full refund less processing fee. Discount Medical Plan Organization is Carrington International Corp., Frisco, Texas. This plan is not available in all areas. Call 844-450-2273 or go to MyDiscountHealth.com.
Need a tractor for tough jobs? Do more for less with a Kubota L-Series compact tractor. Forged from our proven design and highest quality materials, Kubota has been committed to building the industry's best compact tractors for decades. Get financing as low as 0% APR for up to 5 years during our More Power to You sales event. That's value. That's Kubota. Financing available through Kubota Credit Corporation USA. Call toll-free 1-888-465-8268 for details about costs and terms. For more information or to find a participating dealer, visit Kubota.com.
You want to feel connected, informed, included, inspired. So when important things happen, we're here. Your local radio and TV broadcasters. America's #1 source for news, weather, and information on your radio, TV, computer, tablet, and smartphone. We are broadcasters, always here for you, wherever here may be. Tell Washington local stations matter by texting radio to 52886. Furnished by NAB and the station. Message and data rates may apply.
660 AM, The Answer. If it's important to you, we're talking about it right now on the Wells Report on 660 AM, The Answer.
You are listening to the Wells Report. Speaking of space exploration and rocket flight, Devin Staples was 22 years old until July 4th. He was a talented guy. He was a Disney performer and decided to launch a firework off of his head. He put a reloadable fireworks mortar tube on his head, touched it off, and immediately killed himself. Following the tragedy, his mother, Kathleen, is calling for state lawmakers to enforce tighter control on fireworks and other explosives, particularly safety training. She says her son thought the firework he put on his head was a dud and that he was in no danger. Oops. I think the dud was just a little lower. Harsh. The executive producer of the Wells Report is Vicki Steifer. Technical director, conductor of the Wells Report Orchestra is Magic. I'm in a bad mood, Matt Swinney. My name's Jon-David Wells. Have a nice night. See you tomorrow for another edition of the Wells Report.
Mike Gallagher wants the voters to decide what's good for the country.
Jonah Goldberg, our pal over at National Review, writes the Donald is a bad deal for the GOP. Man, I don't know what it is about pundits and writers that make them think they know better than the American voter. Why don't we respect the voters and let them decide?
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 10, right before Dennis Prager at noon on 660 AM. The Answer.
Here it is, Texas summer. Lots of high temperatures, some rain, and some periods of no rain. And put it all together, it makes a real challenge for your soil, your foundation. And if your foundation is doing weird things, or you suspect that it is because you got cracks in the walls or sheetrock or doors that are sticking or floors that don't quite look right, not matching up, call Abacus Foundation Repair. It's the best first call you can make and the only call you need to make. Abacus Foundation Repair. They're going to bring somebody out to map the house with the skill of an engineer, looking for possible causes like plumbing issues so the problem doesn't come back. Let's get on the phone with them right now. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000. North Texas homeowners trust Abacus, the only company offering Millennium Composite pilings for the strongest foundation solution. They're going to stay with you every step of the way. Work is guaranteed. Certified foundation guy on site at all times. You will be taken care of. It's transferable to new owners. 972-406-9000. 972-406-9000 or abacusfoundationrepair.com.
Every month, Heather Cook helps dozens of people file claims for life insurance bought through SelectQuote. The stories she tells are inspiring. Like this one about Joe, a 39-year-old research analyst. Joe was healthy, but with a wife and 2 sons, he realized he needed life insurance just in case. Joe called SelectQuote. His agent, Scott, shopped a number of highly rated term life companies, and though Joe's budget was tight, got him a $1 million policy he could afford. Last April, Joe died from heart failure. But thanks to his life insurance through SelectQuote, his family can keep the house, and the boys can go to college. See how affordable SelectQuote can make just in case for you.
For a free quote, call 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. 1-800-700-1773. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop. You save.
This is 660 AM, The Answer. A service of Salem Media Group on the NASDAQ as SALM, KSKY, Balch Springs, Dallas, Fort Worth. 660 AM, The Answer.
Fox News Radio. I'm Steve Rappaport. Diplomats say a nuclear agreement between world powers and Iran could come in a few hours.
Even if they reach a deal, the U.S. Congress can weigh in. Republicans largely oppose the administration's effort. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest says the onus is on Republicans to explain why.
We're going to have a lot of confidence in the ability that we have to advocate for this agreement. And I think it's going to be a pretty tough sell on the part of Republicans to suggest that this is something that we should walk away from.